I invite Shri Arun Kumar Srivastava, Member WDRA. Very warm welcome to you, sir. I invite Shri Dheeraj Sahu, MD SFAC, Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium, to kindly join us on the dais, please. Inviting Shri Samuel Praveen Kumar, Joint Secretary, DAFW, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Very warm welcome, sir. Inviting Shri Santosh Sinha, MD, Central Warehousing Corporation. Warm welcome to you, sir. Inviting Dr. Ajay Kumar Sood, DMD, NABARD. I invite Shri Sunil Chuk, CGM, Punjab National Bank. Warm welcome, sir. Mr. Gajendra Iache, Head Commodities, HDFC Bank. Warm welcome, sir. And Shri Govind Goyalji, Chief General Manager, State Bank of India. Warm welcome, sir. Namaskar and good afternoon. Our distinguished guests, senior officials, representatives of the farmer producer organizations, our stakeholders, respected members of the press and media, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Warehousing Development and Regulatory Authority and the Department of Food and Public Distribution, Government of India, it is my privilege to extend a warm welcome to the panel discussion session on the occasion of the official launch of the Credit Guarantee Scheme for E-NWR-based pledge financing, which is an initiative aimed at empowering the stakeholders, enhancing the financial inclusion, and promoting innovation in the agriculture and the food distribution sectors. The theme of this panel discussion is the pivotal role of pledge financing and post-harvest finance in enhancing the farmers' incomes and transforming India's agricultural landscape. Today, we will delve into key aspects of how pledge finance impacts farmers' lives. And this session brings together some of the most esteemed leaders and experts who are at the forefront of this transformative journey in agriculture, warehousing, and banking. Shri Mukesh Kumar Jain, member of the Warehousing Development Regulatory Authority, will be moderating this session with his extensive experience in regulatory frameworks and a deep understanding of the warehousing dynamics. Our esteemed panelist, Shri Arun Kumar Srivastava, member WDRA, has been instrumental in strengthening warehousing standards and regulations to promote scientific storage solutions. Our panelist, Shri Dheeraj Sahu, Managing Director of Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium, has worked tirelessly to empower the small and marginal farmers by linking them to markets and the financial institutions. Esteemed panelist, Shri Samuel Praveen Kumar, Joint Secretary in the Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, brings a wealth of knowledge on policy making and farmer-centric initiatives that can enhance the effectiveness of post-harvest financing. We have on the panel with us Shri Santosh Sinha ji. He is the Managing Director of the Central Warehousing Corporation, has been a driving force in promoting robust warehousing infrastructure to support agricultural value chains. Our esteemed panelist, Dr. Ajay Kumar Sood, Deputy Managing Director of NABARD, is a leader in rural financing, and his perspective on financial inclusion and credit access for farmers will certainly add depth to today's discussions. Shri Govind Goyal, Chief General Manager at the State Bank of India, is a banker with a keen understanding of agriculture finance. His thoughts on how banks can support pledge financing will certainly be enlightening. Shri Sunil Chuk, Chief General Manager at Punjab National Bank, has been leading efforts in advancing agri-finance solutions that cater to farmers' need. Shri Gajendra Iache, Head of Commodities at HDFC Bank, brings a market-driven approach to the table with insights on how low financial institutions can support post-harvest financing through commodity-based solutions. And we have on the dais with us our esteemed panelist, Shri Govind Goyalji, who is Chief General Manager at State Bank of India. And may I now hand over to our distinguished moderator, Shri Mukesh Kumar Jain ji, to kindly take the discussions forward. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I also once again welcome all the panelists for today's panel discussion. The theme for today's panel discussion is the role of post-harvest finance in improving farmers' income. Just to set the context, friends, pledge finance against E-NWR has experienced rapid growth in recent years, with over 60% growth in the last 2 years. In 23-24, it reached approximately 4,000 crores. However, total pledge finance against agriculture commodities remains around 40,000 crores, far below potential of 4 to 5 lakh crores. Notably, farmers receive only 2 to 3,000 crores, while traders benefit from the remainder. The lack of adequate pledge finance forces farmers to sell their produce at much lower prices due to liquidity pressure, especially during the harvest season when market supply is high. The high non-performing assets in the KCC portfolio, which range from 10 to 15% and reach up to 20% in some banks, is a significant issue. Extending post-harvest finance to farmers against pledge of produce stored in WDRA registered warehouses could be a solution. This would enable farmers to repay their KCC loans, re-avail their limits for the next crop, and make KCC loan self-liquidating. Farmers can benefit from selling their produce when prices improve, using the proceeds to adjust their pledge loan. Typically, prices increase by 25 to 30% within 3 to 4 months for commercial crops and up to 100% for certain crops. Friends, I understand that agriculture pledge finance against warehouse receipts started in our country in the beginning of the current century when RBI permitted banks to accept warehouse receipt as collateral. However, even after a period of around 20 years, the total pledge finance against agriculture commodities have been hovering around only ₹40,000 crores, whereas total agriculture credit has crossed 21 lakh crores, majority of which is crop loans. This extreme disproportion between availability of pre and post-harvest finance ultimately results into distress sale by farmers. One of the major reasons, according to my understanding, has been huge losses suffered by banks in financing through physical warehouse receipts in unregistered warehouses, wherein large number of frauds happen. To avoid such situation, WDRA ecosystem has put in place various checks and balances through digital E-NWR system, like warehouses automatically made inactive in case of expiry of insurance policy and effective control, security deposit requirements not met, capacity utilization exceeding registered capacity, etc. In such situations, warehousemen will not be able to issue further E-NWRs till corrective measures are taken by him. Here, I would like to give a real-life example wherein capacity of warehouse was just to store agriculture commodity worth 20-25 crores, whereas bank financed against paper warehouse receipt in the warehouse amounting to approximately ₹180 crores, and the loans have been reported under fraud. It may be noted that paper storage receipts are not covered under Negotiable Instrument Act 1881 and therefore not negotiable, whereas E-NWR is a negotiable instrument backed by WDRA Act. I understand that owners of unregistered warehouses give a plea to the banks that regulatory cost of registration with WDRA is very high. Here I would like to inform that WDRA has been constantly rationalizing various regulatory requirements from time to time while balancing the safety of depositors and banks. WDRA has taken a number of measures like rationalizing net worth requirement, drastically reducing dynamic security deposit requirement from 3% to 1%, insurance submission process, and waiver of registration fees up to October 25. Although these efforts have resulted in higher registration numbers and increased pledge finance against E-NWR, however, the scope is tremendous. The WDRA Act aims to increase rural liquidity, encourage scientific warehousing, reduce cost for banks, improve lending portfolio quality, and enhance interest in lending against goods deposit in the warehouses. These goals are intended to result in higher return for farmers and better services to consumers. Friends, at the request of bankers, Government of India has come out with credit guarantee scheme for E-NWR based pledge finance, which shall be shortly inaugurated through the hands of Hon'ble Minister. With this background, I would commence the panel discussion. I will begin with the first question to Sri Samuel Praveen Kumar. Sir, in our country, total agriculture finance is more than 21 lakh crores, out of which post-harvest pledge finance is only 2%. Thus, there is extreme disproportion. What could be the reasons for such low post-harvest pledge finance against commodities?
Good afternoon, everybody. See, if we see the entire credit scenario on the crop segment, about 22 lakh crores is the credit that has been extended with banks, and in proportion to the pledge finance, which is about 40,000 crores. Primarily what we have seen here is that right from 2007 when WDRA came into existence, the entire focus has been on building the systems. We have got a repository ecosystem being built, and we have also built other systems, warehouse management systems, but we have failed to actually build a digital ecosystem. A digital ecosystem where all the stakeholders are interlinked. I'll give you an example of how a digital ecosystem has transformed the way we do business, and I'm sure my colleagues from the banks will agree to it. Prior to 2016, when demonetization happened, the digital transactions in our country were next to nothing. Actually, people were not very convenient. That was a defining moment when UPI came into the picture, and after 2020, there was huge transformation because it's a digital public infrastructure where people were eager to actually do transaction at their convenience. That's what we call it, ease of doing business. And today we are doing about 500 million transactions per day on UPI. Now UPI seamlessly integrates bankers, individual accounts, it's Aadhaar enabled, Aadhaar, a digital foundation that has been created. So this kind of an ecosystem is what is required. So that is from a digital perspective. Now how do you drive it from a agriculture perspective? What is it that is going to transform the way we are going to do pledge financing? Certainly the existing channels, the integration and the focus more on post-harvest, because under Atma, I don't know how many of you are aware, Agriculture Technology Management Agency in the states that we have, the focus is entirely on production agriculture. The market-led extension is not there. Now the focus is slowly shifting, so we are going into value chain development and post-harvest management. So what actually happens is that when you have more of a focus on that, the capacity building of people to actually go and tell farmers that there is a channel for post-harvest management, you don't have to do a distress sale. You can have a E-NWR generated from a WDRA registered warehouse, and the safety and all those things can be told. But where will the real fillip come? The real fillip will come from AgriStack. AgriStack is the UPI equivalent of Agri-Ministry that we are building. I mean, the farm registry-centric system, where you will be having three main registries: the farmer registry, the land registry, and the crop registry. And the crop registry will not come from the traditional crop cutting experience, it will be coming from the digital crop survey. So the land records are already digitized. They come into this DPI, and the farmer with an ID. Now the other ID is basically a digital identity for a person, but the farmer ID is a functional ID. So once you key in the farmer ID, you will be able to know who is the farmer, where he resides, what is the extent of land he has, and then the digital crop survey, DCS, will give you the extent of crop he has got. In fact, in Farrukhabad recently, a crop loan under KCC was sanctioned in 5 minutes, which otherwise would take 3-4 days. You go to a bank, you apply, he goes and verifies the field, whether he sees it is a mustard crop or it is a chana crop. Now all these things will come from the digital crop survey. So AgriStack, when it's integrated with the other systems, the repository ecosystem, the WDRA, I think it is going to make a phenomenal transformation. So that is how the Agriculture Ministry is going to drive this change.
Thank you. My next question to both State Bank of India and PNB, Mr. Goyal and Mr. Sunil Chugh. You are the largest and second largest bank in the country. From your experience, please share the reasons for such low penetration of post-service finance from bankers' perspective. SBI, Mr. Goyal, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting SBI in this very important function for launching of credit guarantee scheme for the farmers. So here what Hon'ble sir already mentioned, but what I say, it is usually said that farmer purchase the input in retail and sell the purchase in wholesale, and both way incur the loss, I mean the transportation cost. So that's why that farmer is having a little bit, not little bit, it's not having a risk-taking capacity. So whatever produce he is producing from the field, he directly go to the market and sell, because he don't want to take a risk, okay, what will be the price after 6 months or after 4 months. So he try to avoid to put up the produce into the storage. Secondly, he always need of the money. And the third thing is that if amount is little more, then he hesitate to give the collateral. So put together all 4 regions, farmer generally try. One more reason is that availability of the warehouses nearby his house. That 4 regions are causing or resisting him to use this one. But as a banker, I must thanks to WDRA for introducing E-NWR concept 2019. And obviously it is a new concept, so it's taking little time, but definitely time is not far away that farmers will be easily accept this concept. So then the advantage of the E-NWR and that for the farmer is that he can pledge and he can take a loan. And right now what is happening, he is selling the product as per requirement. If need a small money, then part amount he is selling. But by putting, by having a concept of E-NWR, he can put whole produce in the godown and then get money from the bank. So this is the one advantage he's going to get, and that money is also very cheap rate. If we include PRI, then it comes to 4% only up to 6 months. As a banker, if I say banker, I always feel a risk. Risk was already mentioned, lot of fraud took place. But by E-NWR, that fraud is going to reduce, and it has reduced. Now it's a question of adoptability by the farmer. And third thing is that bank will get benefit of the KCC renewal. Suppose somebody has put a full produce in the market, and then based on E-NWR, bank will finance, and that whole amount will be credited into the KCC. And from the KCC, farmer can withdraw as and when he requires in part amount and full amount. So that it will help bank to increase the KCC renewal also. So definitely it is going to be reduce NPA. And the KCC renewal, because KCC renewal happens only when farmer put a whole money. So which is very, very difficult for any farmer to give whole lot of money into single instant into the account. So this was the basic constraint for the farmer. So it will, that E-NWR will help. And as a banker also, suppose I mentioned that because of price fluctuation, if some loss occur to the customer, to the farmer, he may not come to the bank and he may not take a position of the produce. In such case, bank has to force the sale. So difference loss amount will be covered through this credit guarantee scheme. And similarly, if something fraud in the sense some misappropriation by warehousemen, something like putting inferior quality product or putting fodder instead of the grain. So that will be covered by this credit guarantee scheme. So it is what I believe it's a win-win situation for all the stakeholders. And definitely it will improve. Basically only thing that what we believe that warehouses should be available near to his farm. Means it's we can say up to panchayat level. And we must thank to government, Ministry of Agriculture, that AIF scheme, Agri Infrastructure Fund, which has created 85,000 crore plus projects. Out of this, 51,000 crore loan have been sanctioned by the banks. Out of this, 10,000 plus crore have been sanctioned by State Bank. So this infrastructure is coming very fast. So I'm not saying that all 85,000 coming into warehouse, but majority is coming under warehouse. So if WDRA is able to capture all these warehouses where government is giving subvention of that, so it will be great for the farmers and for everyone. So it is what I strongly believe it's a win-win situation for all the stakeholders, whether it's a farmer, warehouseman, banker, Government of India, everyone is a win-win situation. So it's a good initiative and we appreciate it as a banker. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Goyal. Mr. Sunil Chu.
Good afternoon, everyone. Since Goyal ji has already given, I think, elaborate response to this, nothing much is left out for me to speak. Nevertheless, I will add something in brief. To my mind, the biggest reason for this E-NWR based pledge finance not being very well popular with the small and marginal farmers is lack of awareness. Even if I see from the experience of my bank, whatever pledge finance we have given in the last year, a large chunk, almost entire, has gone to mostly processing units, not the small and marginal farmers. They are the manufacturer food processing units or rice shellers or such kind of units who are more availing pledge finance, E-NWR based. But small and marginal farmers, there are hardly any awareness among them, and then their ability to understand the price fluctuations of crop or the risks into this. They are very keen to sell the crop and realize money as against trying to take any position in terms of storing the produce and then waiting for some price changes. So more awareness is the solution. I think rest of the things have already been elaborated by Goelji. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Sood from NABARD. So, given the production of agriculture commodities and storage facility in the country, quantum of post-harvest finance is very low. What steps can be taken for improving the situation?
So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. So, as has already been indicated, what are the reasons for low post-harvest finance for pledge and E-NWR based financing? So, the earlier panelists, they have already indicated one of the major reasons is that the small and marginal farmers with very limited land holdings, they have very limited marketable surplus, number one. So therefore, as has been indicated, that there is a need for aggregation of these produce to be able to put in some accredited WDRA accredited warehouses. Therefore, the role of farmer producer organizations and primary agricultural cooperative societies is going to be very, very critical. The world's largest grain storage program that the government of India is running, that is going to be the game-changing proposition. Once these infrastructure is in place and certain other interventions are in place, so I think this is going to be, other things have been indicated. Awareness, of course, is one of the limiting factors, and to which NABARD is placing a lot of focus at various available fora, including SLBC, financial literacy campaigns. We are propagating this, and after this e-Kun digital tool which is available now, I think there will be a lot of traction, because the seamless flow of data and integration of various data points will definitely have this cause. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, I come to my colleague Mr. Arun, who is veteran in warehousing. Arunji, what kind of value-added services may be provided by the warehousemen to farmers to increase revenue of both the farmers as well as the warehouse owners?
Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon, the delegates and the dignitaries on the dais. Let me first say that warehouse and warehouseman have been traditionally providing only one service, that was a storage service. And to some extent, whenever some delivery is taking place, some handling work was being provided. But with the advent of WDRA system, a registered warehouse can today work as a mandi, can work as a procurement center, can work as a grading center for the goods which is coming to the warehouse campus by de-stoning, cleaning, labeling, processing. So a warehouse man and warehousing complex can become a hub of economic activities, and there are certain startups who are already providing. With E-NWR also into the picture, now the warehouse man can coordinate, or they are coordinating with the banks for pledge financing, pledging. They are also tying up with the traders far off the campuses for the secondary sale. In that way, today a warehouse is once integrated to the E-NAM, E-NAM related trade can also happen. What I mean to say here, that a simple warehouse complex which was doing only one service, that was the storage service, today he can provide multiple type of the value added services, and by ensuring that they are going to achieve saving of the time, better quality of the product, and at the same time saving in the loan cost which previously the trader was facing. A trader was going to get the loan maybe at 14%, 15%, 11%. Here with the use of the E-NWR, they can get the loan up to 9 or 10% of the interest rate, and in that fashion it is adding value to the depositor in their produce being stored there, and at the time of the selling also. Similarly, if the bank is requiring that depositor is defaulting, in that condition it can assist in the various auction process. So traditionally a godown once has become a scientific storage called warehouse, and then it is registered with the WDRA, backed by the act conditions with the regulation. I think everybody in the whole stakeholder, all the stakeholders are getting certain value out of the whole WDRA ecosystem here. That is what I want to convey to all the present stakeholders here, that if someone is using the WDRA registered warehouse, each one is going to get some value out of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now next I come to HDFC Bank, Mr. Gajendra. Sir, you are a leading private sector bank in the country. Of late, your exposure to E-NWR based pledge finance is increasing Y-on-Y basis. What made you to shift to E-NWR from physical warehousing receipt finance?
Yeah, good afternoon, all the present delegates and dignitaries. So first of all, thank you WDRA team for giving this platform to put our thoughts. So Srijan, this most important, there was no infrastructure earlier which could have governed the private license warehouses. There are so many licensing authorities pan India. So you have state government, you have mandis also, you have the small say authorities who are available in tehsils. They also used to provide license for warehousing. Though we have a very robust structure in, we had CWC, very robust structure earlier. But if you talk about private licenses, there was no regulation available. So WDRA as such has given that regulation to the country. So I wanted to thank for that thought which has come to the government. And there is a very important thing which used to lead to frauds in the warehouses. You never knew what is the capacity of the warehouse. Here the capacity is registered. You never know where is the warehouse located exactly. Here there is a tagging and geotagging, all those things are happening now. You never knew that if that infrastructure is available for X capacity, Y capacity is getting stocked, so it is only on paper or actually there is a stocking happening there. So now it is all available online. Secondly, the receipts which were issued earlier were all physical. So physical, you can have a duplicate receipt. There is no control over physical receipt. One register can be, or one receipt book can be operated. Parallelly, you can have a different receipt book operated. Here, E-NWR, you have a unique number, and that unique number has helped to reduce all the risk in the market for duplication as well as for funding over capacity in a warehouse. So this infrastructure has led to a confidence in the bank that yes, this is a very good tool to keep ourselves safe, because all the bankers, they always want that whatever funding is done, the commodity should be available in the right quantity and right quality. So that has been made available by WDRA infrastructure, and actually that has led for increase in our exposure in this piece. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I now come to Mr. Dheeraj Sahu. The government has taken initiative for formation and promotion of 10,000 farmer producer organization FPOs. What approach can be adopted to persuade FPOs for availing pledge finance?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's indeed a pleasure to be here. And before I respond to the question posed to me by member Mr. Jain, I would first like to congratulate WDRA for having reached the stage when they are going to launch this credit guarantee scheme. And it's a matter of personal satisfaction for me also, because I was associated for almost the whole distance this scheme has traveled, beginning from the January of 2023 and finally reaching the culmination today. Till some time back, I was there hand-holding the process. And in fact, I would also like to tell that when this, I was given the responsibility of presenting this scheme before the EFC. So there I had to answer the questions, of course, ably supported by member Shri Jain and the then chairman Shri T.K. Manoj Kumar. So it's really a matter of great satisfaction for me. Now, coming to the question that has been posed, I would first like to tell everyone that Government of India launched a very ambitious scheme of promoting farmer producer organizations in the country, and in the year 2020 they launched a special program of developing such 10,000 FPOs, and now at this today we are 9,400 plus FPOs under the scheme. These FPOs are at a different stage of maturity. Some are as old as just 1 month, but there are FPOs under the scheme who have already completed 3 years. So bringing the FPOs, or more appropriately the farmer members of the FPOs in the fold of E-NWR based pledge financing, I think we have to address several issues. And the foremost issue that here Mr. Chuk from PNB also pointed out is the issue of information gap. First of all, we see the concept of the E-NWR based pledge financing, how it's going to benefit the borrower and more here in this context the farmer. That is sound, the concept is sound. But how to actually implement it? First, there is a challenge of information gap. The farmer is not aware how to avail the scheme, what is the scheme. And second, of course, the I would say even the ground level, the village level banker is not fully aware of what pledge financing is. So we have to work from both ends. And in order to develop a strategy where we can actually take benefit of this, the whole ecosystem that WDRA has built, we, the various stakeholders have to come together. And to see, it's not possible for this to take the whole country in one go. So we should have first identify the pockets, have a focused approach where we should start first. So we can identify where our WDRA registered warehouses are present. Secondly, the bankers are there. And thirdly, the farmers that have marketable surplus. Not all farmer members of FPO have marketable surplus. So the farmers where they have marketable surplus, these along with the help of repository have to sit together and understand the scheme, and to the stakeholder, the borrower and both the lender, they have to be explained the scheme, and then it can take off. So for that we need to adopt a focused approach, and SFAC is willing to extend its hand in pushing and persuading the farmer side. But then the repositories, they have to come forward because they have to explain the system to the farmer and to the banker. Both have to be onboarded on the electronic platform that the repositories have built. And it's not very easy for a commoner like a farmer who is not that endowed with knowledge. That person has to be explained. Secondly, in March this year, WDRA had launched e-Kisan Upaj Nidhi. It's about applying for bank loans through an electronic channel. So this public infrastructure has been created and it is still in the process of attaining more maturity. If this could come up with, if all the bottlenecks that were there in this e-Kisan Upaj Nidhi, if they could be ironed out, then it could be a good facilitator for promoting pledge finance. Thirdly, I would also ask the repositories that are with WDRA that they should walk an extra mile for facilitating farmers to avail this facility. They could somehow think of incentivizing the first-time users of their platform so that people actually start taking E-NWRs, the farmers, when they use the WDRA registered warehouse, they start how to get the E-NWR. That is the first basic step that needs to be addressed. And their repositories should think how they can facilitate this entry of the farmers. Once they start using it, then not much hand-holding would be required. So I think these are some of the basic steps that we need to address, and we need to think how to go about it, and then perhaps the journey would become easier and faster. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sahu. Now I come to Mr. Santosh Sinha from CWC. Sir, it is understood that CWC is providing rebate in storage charges for the farmers. Despite this, farmers' deposits are low compared to other deposits. What could be the reasons for it, and how we can improve this position?
Good afternoon. Actually, the reasons have been elaborated by most of the panelists already in the discussion. But if you just go into the genesis of CWC, why was it created? Basically, there was in the late 50s or the early 60s, there was a lot of distress sale because of surplus agricultural produce which was there. And to ensure that farmers get proper rates, the warehousing facility was provided by CWC so that farmers could store there and then they could get proper rates at the time when the rates were enhanced. This is the scheme which has been followed all throughout. This is the basic principle which has been followed all throughout. And E-NWR actually is a great digitalization step towards ensuring proper accountal, proper receipt, proper storage, so that the farmer gets the right amount at the time of sale. Now, what are the reasons, or what are the reasons for which are not, what are the cons of the system? Basically, one of the reasons, as has been stated, is that the warehouses, they are at the district headquarters. You have to add transportation costs, bring them to the district headquarters and then store them. So that is definitely, that is one of the roadblocks towards adopting these WDRA warehouses. Next, there is, I would say, a lot of presence of non-registered warehouses which is along the side of the origin of produce. So farmers find it easy to store it there. Maybe they may be getting lesser remuneration, but even then they find it better to store there. And one thing which has of late come up is, you see, warehousing happens when the market rate of the produce is low. If you have a higher market rate at the time of produce itself, the requirement of warehousing does not happen. This has been seen of late, that this is also one of the reasons why warehousing is not being resorted to. There should be an incentive for E-NWR to attract the farmers to WDRA registered warehouses. You can provide some kind of incentive for transportation, subsidy for transportation, so that warehousing is resorted to by the farmers. And in my view, if we can find out, in today's scenario, there is a possibility we can find out a solution to have WDRA recognition of a system which stores at the origin of produce itself. That will be a very big step to ensure that proper accountable receipt and storage of warehouses is done. Thank you.
From the views expressed by the panelists, it is understood that there is a compelling need to promote pledge finance in the country. A policy level intervention is required to promote pledge finance. This brings me to the second round of discussion on the policy interventions required. I begin with all the three banks, that is State Bank of India, PNB and HDFC. This question goes to all three. Now that the government is launching credit guarantee scheme for E-NWR based pledge finance, I request comments from all the bankers how they perceive this move and what could be the growth projection for the pledge finance. From State Bank of India.
Yeah, sir, just earlier also I mentioned this is definitely going to benefit to the banks, especially why bank hesitate to finance, to pledge financing. The risk is fraudulent activities. Fraudulent, maybe three types of fraudulent activity. One, in a connivance with warehousemen, that quality and quantity, these are the two important issues. Third important issue is definitely it's a theft in a connivance of warehousemen. So what we pursue here under this credit guarantee schemes, initially two risks are covered, means quality as well as quantity through warehouseman concept. So bank feels safe. Okay, at least if something done wrong by wareman house, the bank's money is safe. Third risk, what in case of price fluctuation, suppose price comes down drastically. In such case, borrower may not come forward. So then whatever loss incurred to the bank because of price fluctuation or downgrade of the price, that will also be covered under credit guarantee scheme. So from banker point of view, it is one of the best scheme. And the bank money is safe. Ultimately, bank is a trustee of the public money. So the responsibility of the banker is to save the public money. So if public money save, we always take care to save the money, to incur to zero the losses because of fraud or anything. So these things are taken care here in the credit guarantee scheme. So what I strongly believe it's beneficial for the bank, and it will promote. And till that, already mentioned hardly 200 crore, 150 crore total disbursement, I will say in outstanding may be less, but the whole year total disbursement may be 200 crore. But initially what I expect, 500 crore we can reach, and I think the way WDR is taking pain. I want to give an example, sir, the cost of the time. Last month, WDRA chairman, ex-chairman, Mr. T.K. Manoj Kumar visit one of the branch, and he himself did a e-Kun experiment. And it was a grand success, and that branch was the very interior of the Rajasthan, Mathania branch. So it indicates the pain and the dedication WDRA is taking to promote the schemes, e-Kun and all these things. So ultimately, if the things happens what already mentioned, awareness is one of the root cause. So if awareness is there, scheme-wise is no issue, it's quite attractive. So banks money safe, it means bank will ready to lend. So what I pursue in the current year, or at least next finance year, we can reach up to 500 crore for farmers under E-NWR. Thank you.
Any credit guarantee scheme is definitely a welcome move because it gives an assurance to the lenders with regard to the credit risks that are inherent in any lending activity. So we have seen that in case of Mudra loans, MSME loans also, when the CGT-MSE guarantee came, it gave a big push to the to lending under that particular segment. So I'm sure that this credit guarantee scheme is going to give a boost to pledge finance, and it's going to be a very big plus for the sector and provide a lot of comfort to the lenders and ultimately the benefit to the persons who use this facility, beneficiaries who avail this finance. Only one thing that I want to add here is we need to see that only one aspect that comes in the way of availing more and more guarantee coverage is the cost of the guarantee fee. We need to see how it is going to be and what it is going to be, because that is always factored in the overall pricing of the lending. Presuming that is going to be an affordable cost, it's going to be a big thing, and at this stage I think it's difficult to give any particular numbers as to how much the projected business would be, but definitely there is going to be a plus over what we are already doing.
Mr. Gajendra?
Yes, sir, this had been a ask which we made to RBI and IBA long back, that there has to be a credit guarantee scheme, because when we are going and lending through a warehouse, credit risk is taken care by the bank. Normally, we are assessing the client and we are trying to find out whether the client is eligible for funding or not. But warehousing risk, the risk which is operational risk at the warehouse level, that was not getting covered. So I congratulate the efforts made by WDRA team to get this scheme through. Actually, it's a remarkable achievement, because I don't think any of the credit guarantee schemes covers the fraudulent activity at a warehouse level. So I am not able to get through the full draft of this guarantee, but without this coverage, I think there was no agreement earlier also, so this is going to be covered, I suppose, I hope so. So this is going to be one of the turning point for our warehousing industry and the regulation which WDRA is governing to regulate the warehouses. Today, if we think about going and funding a warehouse without any other checks, then this is going to give us a lot of confidence that yes, there is a guarantee given by the government and our money is secured there. So this will give a multifold say growth to this business. That is my take. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Gajendra. The feature of the scheme will be revealed after some time when being launched to the hands of Honorable Minister. Next I come to Mr. Samuel Praveen Kumar. Government has already extended interest subvention to lending institutions for NWR based pledge finance for a period of 6 months to small and marginal farmers having KCC account. However, a need has been felt for extending prompt repayment incentive in line with KCC and also to increase loan limit for interest subvention and PRI. Whether this matter is under consideration with government and whether these interventions would induce the farmers to avail pledge finance. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, as regards KCC, we have been contemplating it to enhance it to 5 lakhs. So presently it is 3 lakhs, so it will become 5 lakhs, and therefore the post-harvest financing also will be covered there. Beyond that, the prompt repayment incentive, that PRI that we say give about 3%, I think that is now covered for the crop loans. So it will come for the post-harvest loans also, pledge finance loans also. Now, having said that, if you see as to how do we drive this, I don't think so these changes per se will make any impact. Even if you have a credit guarantee and even if you provide PRI, how do you incentivize farmers? I mean, if I go back to the days, early 2000s, in this entire E-NWR ecosystem just came after 2007-8, WDRA and all. But pledge financing was in existence since 1960s. And I remember having inspected a warehouse in Nandyal, Andhra Pradesh. I don't know how many of you are familiar. It's a huge complex, food grain complex. It was storing only 700 metric tons of food grains belonging to farmers and covered by 4,800 warehouse receipts. 4,800. Each warehouse receipt was covering only 50 bags and 100 bags. That is the fact. Today, if you take out the E-NWR pledge financing, you will be having loans which are 20 lakhs, 70 lakhs, 80 lakhs. Now, just tell me, a farmer who is having 2 hectares, small and marginal farmer, even if he is growing a soybean with an average yield of say about 10 quintals, with 5,000 rupees market. Today the market is much lesser soybean. We are struggling, to buy soybean at MSP. MSP is 4892. We are having a market at 4,500. So you are only going to have a loan, 70,000 or 80,000. That is how the farmers' loans are looked at. So 70,000, 80,000 loans, why are then farmers not able to come when even as MD CWC had said, that it all depends on how the fluctuation of prices happen. Ideally, from a Krishi Bhavan perspective, if the markets are ruling in and around MSP, we are all happy. From a farmer perspective, also from a consumer perspective, that inflation is not there. But that is not going to happen because there is a lot of fluctuation in demand and supply. Suddenly you have, now Tur is so dearer all the time, we are unable to maintain the buffer of 10 lakh metric tons mandated by the government of India. We hardly have about 10, 20,000 and we are now resorting to imports. So there's so much of fluctuation. Despite all these fluctuations, how do you then ensure that a farmer still comes to a WDRA warehouse, avails the E-NWR system, and then goes for pledge financing? So we have to forthrightly stop pledge finance against paper receipts. If that is still happening in the country, it is high time that we wake up to that system and say that it is only going to be E-NWR. Going forward, as I said, AgriStack is going to come up. We are going to integrate that to this system, and therefore a farmer's data will automatically come into the systems, and then you interlink it with Jan Samarth. You are having other things, E-Kun is there, Kisan Upaj Nidhi, and all these systems will together form a DPI, and that is how we will be able to actually succeed. And we have to always see that again, digital systems, developing digital system is not the thing, idea. We have seen in the past also that whenever digital systems have been developed, until they become a pull system, they don't succeed. Again, I'll give you an example. FASTag, or for that matter, Digi-Yatra today. These are all pull systems where people want to avail it. People were avoiding to go on a highway because of toll. They say, I don't want to go because I'll go on a circuitous route. Today you don't mind because you don't even know how much paisa has been cut from your bank account. FASTag will ensure that it is taken. Your account is integrated, highways is integrated, everything is integrated system. You don't even see the statement now as to how much money was deducted. Similarly, Digi-Yatra, you don't bother, you are just given all your credentials and you are allowed, and you know the comfort of going into an airport without being frisked. So that kind of a system you develop for E-NWR, where the farmer will willingly come forward. This is what I call pull system, not push system. As long as you keep pushing, I am sure it is not going to succeed.
We have already developed that E-Kisan Upaj Nidhi, and some improvements are going on. It's like that only, what you are suggesting now. So next I come to Mr. Santosh Sinha, CWC. Do you think that this credit guarantee scheme can help the warehousing sector by way of promoting more deposits to the warehouses and increasing their income?
In my view, it's a win-win scheme for everybody. You see, interest subvention, it helps the farmers. If you get something like 8-9% of interest subvention, it will definitely be attractive to farmers because they are paying a lot more than what the interest subvention prescribes. The banks will also be benefited because they know, like some fellow panelists already said, that in case of even of fraud and other activities, they are covered. So they will also be willing to lend that kind of money to the farmers. And this kind of liquidity in the agricultural ecosystem, it will only go to the betterment of the system. It will give you better produce at better rates and possibly also reduce inflation in the long run. The only catch here is that we have to adequately advertise this scheme. We have to, because now this is the entire digital ecosystem is becoming very robust with blockchain also coming in. It is a very robust system. Now this entire robustness of the system has to be explained to the farmers at the field level, which is not an easy task, but should be initiated immediately on a large scale. Thank you.
Thank you. Now come to Mr. Dheeraj Sahu. I request your views on the other policy interventions such as annual targets for the bank, higher limit for FPOs to get interest subvention and prompt repayment incentive, and higher loan limit for FPOs, etc. required to promote pledge finance.
The suggestion regarding annual target for banks for pledge financing, of course it will help, but I think that even without it, if the banks see, the basic problem that is cited by the banks is that there are not enough number of WDRA warehouses. But I think that a solution lies if there are WDRA registered warehouses in the vicinity of the bank branch, then that bank branch should decide that they extend the pledge financing only against E-NWR based applications. So if that is there, let us start with what is available and do not see that it is not available throughout the country, therefore it's a problem. Then how it will increase? How will the pledge finance increase? Let us identify the pockets where everywhere all the inputs are available, and then go ahead with that, and gradually as more warehouses join WDRA ecosystem, the pledge financing thing will increase in size. Secondly, about the limits that could be available to FPO, and see, I'm given to understand that recently a committee was formed for reviewing the modified interest subvention scheme, and Department of Financial Services and DFPD and other departments were involved in that, including Department of Agriculture. So I think they are coming, they would come up with something concrete, some concrete suggestions which could take things forward for actually helping the farmers and FPOs attain, get loans against E-NWRs. I see a common perception is that commercial banks, particularly commercial banks, are a bit hesitant in financing FPOs. And incidentally, the 10,000 FPO scheme also has a credit guarantee component, and NAB Sanrakshan is the trust that is managing that guarantee scheme. During the interaction with them, what have we found? That a large part of their guarantee cover is being availed by only a small fraction of banks, and the commercial banks are mostly keeping away from this for reasons best known to them. I feel that they should shed their hesitation in this regard and come forward, and with the credit guarantee cover being available, they can be more bold in their decision making, and only then this sector would actually prosper and progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Now for Mr. Sood, NABARD. As we know that about 50% of KCC loans are with cooperative sectors, do you think that a dedicated refinance allocation with lower interest rate is a way to promote cooperatives beside PRI?
As we know that cooperative banks, the small and marginal farmers, they are more near to them, they feel more comfortable with them. And a majority of the agricultural loans are with cooperative banks. We are also aware that cooperative banks have their issues in terms of mobilizing low-cost CASA deposits. So their share in CASA deposits is less. So therefore, there is a definite need for providing a concessional refinance window to these cooperative banks. But at the same time, there are certain other issues which need to be addressed. I mean, providing finance or refinance is not the only thing. There are certain governance issues with these banks. There are issues in adoption of technology in these banks. So there is going to be a need for a dual strategy where financial and institutional support is required. And to address the governance and technological issues, NABARD is going to set up a shared services entity in convergence with the Ministry of Cooperation, NCDC, and the concerned banks for providing technology solutions and other interventions to these banks, so that this works as a package. And the provision of concessional refinance, which helps them to reduce their cost, providing timely availability of liquidity, and leads to inclusive growth by extending the concessional facility to small and marginal farmers, is going to be success. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we come to Mr. Arun. Sir, what are the various legal protections available to the warehousemen, depositors and lenders in the WDRA regulatory ecosystem, and what kind of additional policy interventions are required to strengthen the regulation of warehousing sector?
Let me break up this answer in three parts. There are three main important stakeholders in the WDRA ecosystem. One is warehouseman, another is depositor, third is the bankers or the lender. A warehouseman, a storage income is insured because depositors pay them regularly at the interval of 1 month, and in case they fail to pay that amount, in that situation, warehouseman has a right or lien on the goods. He can auction with due intimation under the provision of the Act to get back its storage income, and rest the money can be returned. Similarly, in case of the depositor, Act provides that quantity, quality can be insured by the warehouseman all the time till the declared shelf life of the goods. And in case warehouseman defaults, then warehouse license can be deactivated, suspended, cancelled, and even civil suit can be filed through appropriate mechanism to recover the cost. Now, last not the least, this is the banker. The moment a loan is granted, the E-NWR is placed in the name of the bank, lien holder becomes the bank. So bank can exercise all the rights which a depositor was initially exercising. But there is a catch. The most literate organization in the whole ecosystem is the bank compared to the warehouseman and the depositor. When a bank gives a housing loan, it does all due diligence so that its loan is safe and sound, and the house itself is mortgaged, and bank can auction the particular residence or particular property to recover the loan. In this case, I said a catch because item is perishable item. It has a declared shelf life. The E-NWR which has been issued, it has also a time dated expiry. If bank has fixed a repayment schedule beyond the declared shelf life of the goods, that means bank cannot come to the warehouseman and say that ensure that item is auctioned, I get back the money after 3 years or 2 years. So they have to be constantly aware about the expiry of the E-NWR, its extension through the repository system with the help of the depositor or themselves after 6 months, then 3 months and 3 months, and within that period their repayment schedule should end. If that doesn't happen, and even bank goes to the court may question why you have fixed the repayment schedule beyond the expiry of the goods itself. So here awareness to the bank their SOP should also be modified in such a manner that, because here collateral is the stock kept in the warehouse, and that collateral is perishable. And this has been missed because in the history of the WDRA since 2010 to 2024, there are 4 or 5 such cases where bank is asking for the money back and bank is not getting. But there are situations, that situation has happened where the item is expired. From where the money can be recovered, nobody can recover that money. That collateral is finished. So my humble request to the banker, because depositor case has not come, not a single depositor default case has come to the WDRA, not a single warehouseman related request has come to the WDRA that my money is not, a storage income is not being paid by the depositor. But bankers have come. And in some of the cases, they have given loan to 50, 60 depositors. And in most of the cases, I am finding that the period of E-NWR is over, or it has crossed the period of self-life. Please be aware about 2 or 1 most important item, that it's a perishable item. And while sanctioning the loan, like you are making all the due diligence, while sanctioning a property related loan, please follow all due diligence in spite of WDRA giving or issuing a E-NWR that this much quantity and quality is kept in a particular warehouse. Your own SOP should ensure that depositor civil score is okay, their financial strength is okay, they are not regular defaulter, because in one case we found that the same depositor has defaulted at more than 1 locations. So that type of due diligence is required if you want to get certain protection from the regulations. Now, additional regulations what WDRA needs so that it can provide a better protection to the warehouseman, depositor and the bankers. There is only one thing I say, we fear a lion because we know that lion can bite and kill us. Right now, WDRA doesn't have a right teeth to strike at the right time. For that, we have proposed an amendment to the Government of India, and we are very sure that within short time that amendment will come, and that will empower us up to the imprisonment of the defaulter. And if that comes, certainly WDRA will be more powerful for the right cause, for the right thing to do, and that is required as of now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Arun. Now we move to third and final round. In this round, we would focus on role of pledge finance in improving farmers' income. So my question goes to CWC, Mr. Santosh Sinha. I request you to share your views on scientific warehousing and need to adopt latest technologies in warehousing and some examples thereof.
See, the need for scientific warehousing need not be overemphasized. Scientific warehousing has proved its worth over time, and with WDRA regulations coming in, scientific warehousing has received a new boost. Basically because now the standards are set by the WDRA, and based on that the E-NWR is prepared, and that E-NWR is supposed to be honored by the banks. So that scientific warehousing standards are going up, and that will only be in the interest of protecting the produce. So scientific warehousing is required. CWC has gone the whole hog in adopting WDRA, and nearly 80% of our warehouses are already WDRA certified. And rather than example, as a holistic example I am giving you, and we have plans that all our food grain warehouses all our other warehouses will be WDRA certified wherever we want them, and if you come and store food grain with us, it will be WDRA certified very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Now to Mr. Dheeraj Sahu. One of the primary objectives of FPO is to bring in economies of scale and better bargaining power to the farmers. Therefore, FPO is a better vehicle to fetch higher prices. What kind of steps may be taken to induce FPOs to store their produce and take pledge finance?
Yeah, as I said earlier, I think first and foremost thing is to educate and then to facilitate. We need to educate them and make them aware of the what WDRA ecosystem is, and in this regard WDRA can help us in because we run training programs for FPOs. If they have training resources available, the training material available, then we can through our channels disseminate this information. And secondly, the facilitation part. The facilitation part will have to be handled by the repositories, and of course the forthcoming the banks have to be more forthcoming in their interaction with the potential borrowers. So if these stakeholders can come together, therefore it will definitely be a win-win situation for all.
Thank you. So I will now request the panelists to be a little brief, since we have to close the session in 5 minutes time. So Mr. Arun, what could be the role of regulator in improving fiduciary trust among stakeholders? What are the initiatives taken by WDRA in this front?
For any regulator, if it is able to maintain a fiduciary trust among all the stakeholders, I think that is the hallmark or success mark for any of the regulator. In case of WDRA, we are doing mainly two things. One is the preventive mechanism by ensuring that a warehouse which is good enough can only be registered. That is, it is scientific. It is having all the right SOP available at the warehouse, its preservation equipment, weighing equipment, it's well inspected, its stocks are inspected. So we are ensuring before registration and even during the operation that that particular warehouse runs into right kind of operations, maintenance, so that the stock preserved is not spoiled. And if there is any grievance, there is a WDRA grievance mechanism. Through that, we are able to attend the grievances right at the time, so that regulatory part is well taken care of. Now, once we are issuing the E-NWR or using the digital public infrastructure for the registration purpose for the E-NWR issue, like ECON, and we are going to have CGS, this credit guarantee scheme also. So regulation part we are able to take care, and I think with this system of preventive and corrective action later on, if there is any default, then WDRA regulation act provision provides to take care of the default in a right manner within a reasonable period of time, and with amendment coming into the picture, I think that can further fast track to ensure that the WDRA ecosystem, all the stakeholders' interest is well regulated. Thank you.
With this, I would like to invite few questions from the House. Quickly, we can have few questions.
सर नमस्कार, मैं गंगानगर ज़िले से राजस्थान से आया हूँ, हमारा एफपीओ है। तो मेरा सबसे पहला प्रश्न तो ये रहेगा सर, भी क्या है कि जब अपने जब छोटे किसानों की बात कर रहे हैं, छोटे किसानों के मतलब 5 बीघा ज़मीन, 8 बीघा ज़मीन होगी, 10 बीघा ज़मीन होगी, तो उनके कितने के क्विंटल्स माल होगा? मान लो 10 क्विंटल सरसों होगी उसके, और उसके मान लो 20 क्विंटल गेहूँ होगी, 5 क्विंटल 10 क्विंटल चना हो गया। तब इसको इकट्ठा करके वो कैसे रख पाएगा वेयर हाउसेज में? हालांकि वेयर हाउस अथॉरिटी शायद WDRA या वो छूट दे रखी है फार्मर्स के लिए 60% की। तो मेरी रिक्वेस्ट रहेगी कि हमने FPO बना रखा है, FPO के माध्यम से हम E-NWR के से लोन प्लस फाइनेंसिंग करवाते हैं। अब मेरी रिक्वेस्ट ये रहेगी कि FPOs को भी एज ए किसान ट्रीट करके उनको वो किराए में छूट उपलब्ध करवाई जावे, क्योंकि किराया अधिक होने की वजह से सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत ये आ रही है। हमने अभी मैंने पीछे माल लगाया हुआ था राजस्थान स्टेट वेयर हाउस में, तो वहाँ क्या होता है जी, वहाँ 13 साढ़े 13 रुपये के हिसाब से वो किराया लगता है। अब वहाँ किराया अधिक लगता है तो वहाँ हमें बड़ी दिक्कत आती है जी। अब जब हम जब किसानों का माल इकट्ठा करके रखते हैं और वही प्राइवेट जो गोदाम है वो 5 साढ़े 5 रुपये में रख रहे हैं, तो ये मेरा एक रिक्वेस्ट रहेगी सर से भी इस संबंध में अगर विचार किया जाए तो FPO को लेके ये बहुत बड़ी हो सकती है। कारण क्या होता है जी, एक किसान का माल डेलियों में रखेंगे मान लो 5-5 क्विंटल, क्योंकि इसमें सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत होती है जी गुणवत्ता की। किसी किसान का किसी गुणवत्ता का माल है, किसी किसान का किसी गुणवत्ता का माल है, तो वो इकट्ठे तो रख नहीं पाएंगे। लेकिन FPO के माध्यम से हम इकट्ठा करके और उनको माल को हम रख के और उन्हीं फार्मर को हम अगेंस्ट लोन दे देते हैं, हम खुद रख के। थैंक यू सर।
रिस्पॉन्ड। जो आपने सवाल पूछा था कि FPOs को भी रखने का है, तो केंद्रीय भंडारण निगम में तो FPOs के लिए भी जो किसान के लिए जो छूट देते हैं वो FPOs को भी मिलता है। और दूसरी बात यह है कि FPOs का जो है क्वांटिटी एग्रीगेशन तक ही सीमित नहीं है, देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज क्वालिटी एज वेल। In fact, in workshops like this and in launches like this, when we discuss about WDRA, there is a fundamental concept on which we'll have to deliberate, the concept of fungibility. Fungibility is, in agriculture goods very difficult to achieve because of the variation, natural variation. Industrial goods में तो सब एक साथ एक ही समान रहता है। अगर कोई किसान मतलब 10 किसान आते हैं FPOs के और एक स्टैक बिल्ड करके 1000 टन रख लेते हैं, तो उसमें से किसी किसान को अगर 100 बैग भी निकालना हो तो उसी क्वालिटी का होगा पूरा स्टैक, तो इसी को fungibility concept बोलते हैं। FPOs can very well bring in this. Now how does this fungibility come? Again, there are pillars of fungibility. You have good quality standards. You have good quality standards को measure करने के लिए जो equipment चाहिए वो भी चाहिए आपको वेयरहाउस में। वो पुराने जमाने में लोग मुंह में चबा के ना बता देंगे नमी कितना है, वो अभी नहीं चलेगा। आपको accurate होना चाहिए कि एक प्रोग मैकेनिज्म से आप पता करें कि इसमें इतना है, ताकि you are able to arrive at the exact quality. And then the quality awareness comes. Institutional framework is given. Digitally you are having an institutional framework. आप किसानों के लिए या FPOs के लिए एक ऐसा, अभी जब ये सब जुड़ जाएंगे, एग्री स्टैक जुड़ जाएगा, आपका ई-कुन जुड़ जाएगा, तो एक ऐसा मोबाइल ऐप आ जाएगा, मे बी किसान भंडार या मेरा भंडार, ऐसा कोई ऐप आ जाएगा, तो ऐप की सुविधा से आपको सारा कुछ मिल जाएगा। लेकिन फिर भी जब तक ये क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स का नहीं आता है कॉन्सेप्ट, तब तक फूड ग्रेन वेयरहाउसिंग में E-NWR को प्रमोट करना मुश्किल होगा।
Sir, good afternoon.
Yes.
I am Nishant. I am from Axis Bank. So, funding to a farmer, obviously, दो प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं, जैसा डिस्कशन भी हुआ कि टाइमली अगर फंड ना मिल पाए तो फार्मर्स कम रेट पे भी बगल में जो ट्रेडर है या जो प्रोसेसर है उनको दे पाते हैं। अभी प्रश्न ये है सर कि एक बार वंस द गुड्स आर हार्वेस्टेड फ्रॉम द फील्ड, इट विल टेक इट्स ओन टाइम टू गो टू द गोडाउन, देन द अदर फॉर्मेलिटीज। सो the call should be either on the farmer or as a bank we should take the call on commodity. My question is this, that are we like giving some deadline also with this launch of this scheme to the financial institutions or the banks कि ये इतने समय में खत्म होना चाहिए?
अभी स्कीम लॉन्च करेंगे ना तब इसकी फीचर्स बताए जाएंगे। क्रेडिट गारंटी स्कीम की बात कर रहे हैं ना आप?
यस सर, यस सर।
अभी सेकंड सेशन में ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर के साथ में जब लॉन्च होगा तभी इसकी फीचर्स बताए जाएंगे। बहुत अच्छी स्कीम है, बैंकर्स के लिए बहुत बेनिफिशियल स्कीम है, लेकिन अभी मैं फीचर्स की बात नहीं कर सकता, ये अभी लॉन्च के टाइम में बताया जाएगा।
थैंक यू।
सो विद दिस क्वेश्चन आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक ईच एंड एवरी पैनलिस्ट and the audience also for their patience hearing. Thank you very much. Now, Madam, over to you.
We thank all our distinguished, just a minute, we have memento presentation, sir. I would request Mr. Jitesh Sharma, Director WDRA, to kindly do the honors of present mementos as a token of appreciation and gratitude. We begin with presenting to our moderator, Sri Mukesh Kumar Jain, Member WDRA. We present to Sri Arun Kumar Srivastava, Member WDRA. To Sri Dheeraj Sahu, MD SFAC. To Sri Samuel Praveen Kumar, Joint Secretary DAFW. Sri Santosh Sinha, MD CWC. Dr. Ajay Kumar Sood, DMD NABARD. Sri Sunil Chugji, CGM PNB. And Mr. Gajendra Yache, Head Commodities, HDFC Bank, and Sri Govind Goel, Chief General Manager, SBI. I would request everyone to kindly come together for a group photograph, please. And ladies and gentlemen, we invite everyone to kindly join us for a cup of tea outside. You have only 20 minutes for the tea break. We would request everyone to be seated back in the hall 10 minutes before 4 o'clock, as the Honorable Minister will be joining us at 4 o'clock. आप सभी को आमंत्रित करते हैं चाय ब्रेक के लिए, और आप सभी से निवेदन है कृपया 4 बजने को 10 मिनट पे आप सभी से निवेदन है 3:45 तक 3:45 तक आप सभी वापस हॉल में अपने स्थान ग्रहण कर लें। माननीय मंत्रीगण 3:45 बजे तक हमारे बीच उपस्थित होंगे। धन्यवाद।
नहीं है तो बनवा दो।
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your kind attention? I would request everyone to kindly join us back inside the hall and be seated as soon as possible. The Honorable Ministers are expected to be joining us any moment now. For this event, we have marked the seating. We would request you all to kindly be seated accordingly. Ladies and gentlemen, once again requesting all our guests to kindly be seated as soon as possible. Once again requesting for all mobile phones to be kept on to silent mode. We are expecting the Honorable Ministers to join us any moment now.
हेलो 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 हेलो
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just been informed the Honorable Ministers have arrived at the venue. We would request you all to kindly be seated as soon as possible. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, requesting everyone to be seated as soon as possible. The Honorable Ministers have arrived, would be joining us any moment now. उपस्थित सभी अतिथिगण से पुनः निवेदन है, कृपया शीघ्र अपने स्थान ग्रहण कर लें। माननीय मंत्रीगण भारत मंडपम में पधार चुके हैं और कुछ ही समय में हमारे बीच मंच पर उपस्थित होंगे। सभी से पुनः निवेदन है, कृपया अपने स्थान ग्रहण कर लें। धन्यवाद।
हेलो
एक ट्रे में एक शॉल एक पॉट। Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again requesting everyone to be seated. The Honorable Ministers would be joining us any moment now. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to acknowledge the honorable presence of Shri Sanjeev Chopra ji, Secretary Department of Food and Public Distribution. Let's put our hands together to welcome sir. We are expecting the arrival of the honorable ministers any moment now, requesting everyone to be seated and all mobile phones kept on to silent mode. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we would also acknowledge the august presence of Shri M. Nagarju, Secretary Department of Financial Services, who is here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, a kind request for all our distinguished guests who are present here to kindly occupy the seats as soon as possible, especially the seats which have been marked by the names of the respective dignitaries. We would request you to kindly be seated as soon as possible so that we are aware who all has arrived and we could rearrange the seating accordingly. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just been informed the Honorable Minister has arrived and is going to join us any moment now. We would request once again everyone to be seated. जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत करेंगे श्री प्रहलाद जोशी जी का, ऑनरेबल यूनियन मिनिस्टर ऑफ कंज्यूमर अफेयर्स, फूड एंड पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, न्यू एंड रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी। हार्दिक स्वागत करेंगे श्री BL वर्मा जी का, ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट फॉर कंज्यूमर अफेयर्स, फूड एंड पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, श्रीमती नीमूबेन जयंती भाई बम्बानिया जी का, ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट फॉर कंज्यूमर अफेयर्स, फूड एंड पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, श्री संजीव चोपड़ा, सेक्रेटरी DFPD, श्री M नागराजू, सेक्रेटरी DFS, श्री फैज़ अहमद किदवाई, एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर एंड फार्मर्स वेलफेयर, श्रीमती अनीता प्रवीण, चेयरपर्सन WDRA एवं मिस अनीता कर्ण, जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी DFPD। नमस्कार एंड गुड इवनिंग। माननीय मुख्य अतिथि श्री प्रहलाद जोशी जी, माननीय केंद्रीय मंत्री उपभोक्ता मामले, खाद्य और सार्वजनिक वितरण मंत्रालय एवं नवीन और नवीकरणीय ऊर्जा मंत्रालय, भारत सरकार, आदरणीय विशिष्ट अतिथिगण श्री BL वर्मा जी, माननीय राज्य मंत्री उपभोक्ता मामले, खाद्य और सार्वजनिक वितरण मंत्रालय, भारत सरकार, श्रीमती नीमूबेन जयंतीभाई भंभानिया जी, माननीय राज्य मंत्री, उपभोक्ता मामले, खाद्य और सार्वजनिक वितरण मंत्रालय, भारत सरकार। मंच पर उपस्थित सम्मानीय गणमान्य अधिकारीगण, विशिष्ट अतिथिगण, वरिष्ठ अधिकारीगण, किसान उत्पादक संगठनों के प्रतिनिधि, विभिन्न क्षेत्रों से जुड़े हमारे हितधारक, माननीय प्रेस एवं मीडिया के सदस्य, देवियों और सज्जनों, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ फूड एंड पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन भारत सरकार की ओर से इस ऐतिहासिक अवसर पर हार्दिक स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन। माननीय मंत्रीगण की गरिमामयी उपस्थिति में आज हम औपचारिक शुभारंभ करने जा रहे हैं क्रेडिट गारंटी स्कीम फॉर E-NWR बेस्ड प्लेज फाइनेंसिंग का, जो हितधारकों को सशक्त बनाने, वित्तीय समावेशन को बढ़ावा देने और कृषि और खाद्य वितरण क्षेत्रों में नवाचार को प्रोत्साहित करने के उद्देश्य से एक महत्वपूर्ण पहल है। आज के इस अवसर पर सम्मानीय एवं गणमान्य अतिथिगण की उपस्थिति हमारे लिए अत्यंत सम्मान की बात है। आप सभी की दूरदृष्टि और नेतृत्व ने इस पहल को साकार किया है। माननीय केंद्रीय मंत्री, उपभोक्ता मामले, खाद्य और सार्वजनिक वितरण मंत्रालय एवं नवीन और नवीकरणीय ऊर्जा मंत्रालय श्री प्रहलाद जोशी जी का हार्दिक और सम्मानपूर्ण स्वागत करते हैं, जिनके नेतृत्व और दृष्टिकोण ने हमें हमेशा प्रभावशाली परिवर्तन की दिशा में प्रेरित किया है। और अनुरोध है मिस अनीता कर्ण JS-DFPD से कि आप कृपया माननीय केंद्रीय मंत्री जी का स्वागत पौधा एवं शॉल भेंट कर करें। और जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत माननीय मंत्री महोदय जी का। आपका तहे दिल से पुनः आभार। आपने अपने कीमती वक्त में से वक्त निकाला और यहाँ उपस्थित हुए। हार्दिक धन्यवाद और स्वागत सब। निवेदन करेंगे आपसे, आप स्वागत करें माननीय राज्य मंत्री श्री BL वर्मा जी का। JS-DFPD जी से निवेदन है, आप स्वागत और सम्मान करें माननीय राज्य मंत्री श्रीमती नीमूबेन जयंतीभाई भंभानिया जी का। स्वागत करना चाहेंगे श्री संजीव चोपड़ा जी का, सचिव खाद्य और सार्वजनिक वितरण विभाग का, जिनके मार्गदर्शन ने इस पहल की परिकल्पना और कार्यान्वयन में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई। स्वागत करना चाहेंगे अब हमारे सम्मानीय विशिष्ट अतिथि श्री फैज़ अहमद किदवई जी का, एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर एंड फार्मर्स वेलफेयर। निवेदन है, आप कृपया स्वागत और सम्मान करें श्रीमती अनीता प्रवीण जी का, चेयरपर्सन WDRA। और मंच पर आमंत्रित करना चाहेंगे श्रीमती प्रिया जेकब को, डायरेक्टर DFPD। आप स्वागत और सम्मान करें मिस अनीता कर्ण का। हार्दिक धन्यवाद। और आज के इस विशेष अवसर पर विनम्रतापूर्ण निवेदन है माननीय मुख्य अतिथि, माननीय विशिष्ट अतिथिगण और सभी सम्मानित मंचासीन अतिथियों से कि आप कृपया दीप प्रज्वलित कर आज के इस कार्यक्रम का औपचारिक रूप से शुभारंभ करें।
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते।
माननीय केंद्रीय मंत्री महोदय द्वारा दीप प्रज्वलित कर आज के कार्यक्रम के शुभारंभ पर जोरदार तालियां। हार्दिक धन्यवाद सर. Under the leadership of Srimati Anita Praveen, the chairperson of the Warehousing Development and Regulatory Authority, WDRA has been focusing on creating a more transparent, accountable and farmer-friendly ecosystem, contributing to the empowerment of rural communities and the agriculture sector. And to set the tone for today's program, I invite Srimati Anita Praveen, Chairperson WDRA, for the welcome address. Please join me in welcoming her with a warm round of applause, please.
Namaskar. Shri Prahlad Joshi, Honorable Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, and Minister of New and Renewable Energy. Shri B.L. Verma, Minister of State for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, and Social Justice and Empowerment. Srimati Nimuben Jayantibhai Bambania, Minister of State for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. Shri Sanjeev Chopra, Secretary, Department of Food and Public Distribution. Shri Nagaraju, Secretary, Department of Financial Services. It seems he might have left by now. Srimati Anita Karn, Joint Secretary, Storage and Public Grievances, members of WDRA, other senior officials of the Government of India, banks and other organizations, ladies and gentlemen. सभी उपस्थित गणमान्य प्रतिभागियों का मैं WDRA के इस हर्ष की घड़ी में आने के लिए हृदय से स्वागत करती हूँ। कृषि व संबंधित क्षेत्र के महत्व को हम सभी जानते और मानते हैं। कोविड महामारी के बाद भी सर्वे रिपोर्ट्स के अंतर्गत यह ज्ञात होता है कि इस क्षेत्र पर आधारित जनसंख्या की वृद्धि हुई है और महिलाओं की संख्या बहुत ही अधिक है जो कि अब इस पर आश्रित है। सरकार द्वारा इस क्षेत्र को अधिक से अधिक सहायता दी जाती है। लोन्स, इंश्योरेंस, इंटरेस्ट सबवेंशन, हर प्रकार का फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट है जो किसानों तक उनकी पहुंच के भीतर है। फसल की कटाई के बाद भी वेयर हाउसेस, कोल्ड स्टोरेजेस, इरिगेशन फैसिलिटीज़ आदि ऐसे उपाय हैं जो कि फसल को सुरक्षित रखने में किसानों की मदद करने के लिए तत्पर होते हैं। कटाई के तुरंत बाद कम कीमतों पर किसानों को उपज बेचना ना पड़े और यदि उन्हें लिक्विडिटी की आवश्यकता है तो इसके लिए WDRA का इलेक्ट्रॉनिक नेगोशिएबल वेयरहाउसिंग रिसीट एक अचूक अस्त्र है। E-NWR यथार्थ में वेयरहाउसिंग में उपस्थित जितना भी सामान है उसको पहले से ही फाइनेंशियल तौर पर बैंकर के लिए एक आश्वासन के तौर पर इशू किया जाता है, पर इसको और भी सुदृढ़ बनाने के लिए डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ फूड एंड पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन द्वारा WDRA को एक और माध्यम दिया जा रहा है जिसका आज माननीय मंत्रियों द्वारा लॉन्च किया जा रहा है। क्रेडिट गारंटी स्कीम फॉर E-NWR बेस्ड प्लेज फाइनेंसिंग एक समय अनुकूल इंटरवेंशन है ये, जिसके सहारे E-NWRs का अधिकाधिक प्रयोग होगा और छोटे व सीमांत किसानों को आसानी से लिक्विडिटी प्राप्त होगी। इस गारंटी स्कीम की सहायता से हमारे बैंकर्स भी निर्भीक होकर लोन दे पाएंगे क्योंकि उनका आत्मविश्वास इसके विस्तार के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है। बैंक्स का जो भी परसीव्ड रिस्क है उसे यह सुविधा निरस्त कर देगा, ऐसा मेरा मानना है। इस स्कीम को सफल बनाने के लिए नेशनल क्रेडिट गारंटी ट्रस्ट कंपनी लिमिटेड हमारे साथ सहयोग कर रहे हैं जो कि डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज के अंतर्गत हैं। NCGTC के साथ 11 ट्रस्ट फंड्स पहले से ही जुड़े हुए हैं और हमारा फंड जो बनेगा वो 12वां होगा जो इनके साथ जुड़ करके किसानों की सहायता के लिए तत्परता से काम करेगा। इस नई क्रेडिट गारंटी स्कीम से जो E-NWRs को बढ़त प्राप्त होगी, इसका मुझे एक प्रकार से विश्वास इसलिए भी है क्योंकि हमारे बैंकर्स जो कि अभी तक इस चीज़ के लिए थोड़ा सा सोचा करते थे कि क्या ऐसी प्रोड्यूस जो कि पेरिशेबल है उसको हमें उसके लिए फंडिंग देनी चाहिए, तो मुझे ये विश्वास है कि ये स्थिति जो है इस क्रेडिट गारंटी स्कीम के अंतर्गत इस समस्या का समाधान हो जाएगा। इसी विश्वास के साथ मैं आप सभी का पुनः स्वागत करती हूँ और इस आयोजन की गरिमा बढ़ाने के लिए आप सबको धन्यवाद देती हूँ। नमस्कार, जय हिंद।
हार्दिक धन्यवाद। Ladies and gentlemen, Shri Sanjeev Chopra ji, as Secretary DFPD, has been instrumental in spearheading the policy reforms, streamlining the public distribution system, and integrating technology-driven solutions to enhance the efficiency and transparency. Under his guidance, the department has not only addressed immediate challenges, but has also laid the foundation for a more sustainable and inclusive food distribution system in India. We are honored to have him with us today to deliver the keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Shri Sanjeev Chopra ji.
Honorable Cabinet Minister Shri Prahlad Patel ji, Honorable MOS Srimati Nimuben Jayanti Bhai Bambhania, Honorable MOS Shri B.L. Verma, my colleagues on the dais, Srimati Anita Praveen, Chairperson WDRA, Shri Faiz Ahmed Kidwai, Additional Secretary Agriculture, and Srimati Anita Karn, Joint Secretary DFPD, all the esteemed delegates, my colleagues from DFPD, from WDRA, the banking sector friends, the warehousemen, representatives from the agriculture community, a very warm welcome to you to this launch ceremony. And first of all, I'd like to thank the Honorable Minister, Shri Prahlad Patel ji, as well as the MOS, Srimati Bambhania and Shri B.L. Verma, for acceding to our request, sparing the time during this Parliament session, and agreeing to launch the Credit Guarantee Fund. Shri Prahlad Joshi ji was a source of great support and guidance for us during this entire journey. The journey we started about 1.5 years back when we mooted this proposal, and I have among the audience we have Shri T.K. Manoj Kumar, the ex-chairman of WDRA, with whose support and cooperation we started this entire initiative. I remember we met the then Secretary Expenditure and made a presentation to him on the benefits of the Credit Guarantee Fund and how that can transform the agri sector, particularly the post-harvest lending. And with his blessings, I think we progressed with this proposal, and it is a great credit to the entire setup that this scheme, this fund is getting launched today. I've had the good fortune of working in the agri-credit sector. I was the MD of the State Cooperative Bank in Odisha about 25 years back. I also served in the agriculture sector in the state of Odisha. And two things which were noticeable during my incumbency in these sectors. Number one was the fact that the term lending in agriculture was much less than what was expected. And the second was the fact that the post-harvest lending was minimal. So things have progressed over the past 25 years. There's been a lot of change, a lot of development, but still I do feel that these two sectors still need a lot more attention than we are giving them today. For example, if I just cite the figures out of a total lending of agriculture, the short-term lending and the long-term lending put together of 21 lakh crores, the lending for post-harvest finance is just about 40,000 crores. So against a 21 lakh crore lending for agri sector, for the crop loans, the lending for post-harvest pledge finance is just about 40,000 crores, out of which the lending for against E-NWRs is still less at just 4,000 crores. So you can just imagine the kind of potential that there is to ramp up this particular lending, and that is what is expected to be done when we are launching this particular fund of 1,000 crores. We are hoping that the post-harvest lending over the next 10 years will go up to 5.5 lakh crores. And that too is a very conservative estimate. I would say that the potential is much more, and in case we pool in our resources, we pool in our strengths, and we get the support from the related departments, from the banking sector, from the warehousemen, I think this particular target of 5.5 lakh crores is eminently achievable and I'm sure can be exceeded. With regard to what has been done in the recent past for facilitating the pledge finance, I think a lot of efforts have been made by the government. We also launched in the month of March a particular portal called the Kisan Upaj Nidhi, where the objective was that the lending against post-harvest finance can also be done end-to-end over the system. So all the data points were integrated which were relating to the e-KYC of the farmer and the e-NWR. So all the data points were available to the bankers for taking quick decisions regarding credit. This particular e-KUN has also started, but of course a lot more needs to be done, and I'm hopeful that with the support of the concerned departments, particularly the DFS, we would be able to streamline the entire e-KUN so that the farmers can get the lending end-to-end without actually having to approach the bankers repeatedly. So the other three things, in fact, I'd like to mention that as we launch the fund today at the hands of the Honorable Minister, the work for all of us in this hall is cut out in the sense that there are three major steps that need to be taken besides the fact that the e-KUN has to be streamlined and the farmers facilitated to get the loan on the system without actually making the repeated visits to the bank. The first and the foremost thing is the awareness. Even with the e-KUN, we are finding that the awareness levels are very low. So with this scheme of 1,000 crore corpus, unless and until we are able to create the awareness, and I think each one of us in this hall has the responsibility to go out and maybe spread this message of the Credit Guarantee Fund and how that will help the bankers in being a little more aggressive in lending against pledge finance. The second is with regard to the repository charges. So there has been repeated, let's say, interventions made by the farming community and others that repository charges we need to relook and how we can further make them more reasonable. That is a demand which has come repeatedly, and that is something that we need to work with the two repositories, NERL and CCRL, to see that while right now we are taking some charges at each stage, at the stage of, let's say, pledge, at the stage of de-pledge, at the stage of transfer, at the stage of withdrawal. So all these charges, in case we can try and make them more reasonable, I think that is an effort that we need to make, besides which the WDRA itself has been making efforts and they've started the process of functioning as a repository, and I think that would be a great step forward in making the entire e-NWR facility more accessible to the farmers. The third is the registration part. So right now the registration made, about 5,800 warehouses are registered with the WDRA. The potential is huge. I think if we set our sights that while we will increase the lending to 5.5 lakh crores over the next 10 years, I think it will not be unrealistic to say that even the registrations have to go up commensurately. And 40,000 registration is something I think we can have a roadmap. The new chairperson, WDRA, may like to have a look at this as to how in the next 1 or 2 years, we ramp up the registration for the warehouses that are registered with the WDRA. Because unless they are registered, they would not be in a position to offer the or issue the e-NWRs. So these were certain initiatives that we need to take. So I just thought that I'll lay down for your consideration as to what are the points that need to be taken as we launch the Credit Guarantee Fund. What is it that we need to do over the next 3 to 6 months to ensure that this scheme becomes really successful and gets the kind of outreach to the farmers that that requires. So I'd like to end here thanking the Honorable Minister once again, Honorable MOSs once again for their presence. I'd also like to thank the department that have worked very, let's say, shoulder to shoulder with us, the Department of Agriculture, Department of Financial Services, and all the warehousemen associations who've been working with us to ensure that the benefit of this scheme reaches the farmers in the coming years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening address and providing a comprehensive overview of the Credit Guarantee Scheme. E-NWR आधारित प्लेज फाइनेंसिंग के लिए क्रेडिट गारंटी योजना एक परिवर्तनकारी पहल है जिसका उद्देश्य किसानों, व्यापारियों और कृषि मूल्य श्रृंखला में अन्य हितधारकों को सशक्त बनाना है। यह योजना इलेक्ट्रॉनिक नेगोशिएबल वेयरहाउस रिसिप्ट्स का उपयोग करके किसानों तक आसान और किफ़ायती ऋण प्रदान करने पर केंद्रित है। यह पहल कृषि भंडारण और गोदाम तंत्र को मजबूत करने के साथ साथ वित्तीय समावेशन और आर्थिक सशक्तिकरण को बढ़ावा देने के लिए डिज़ाइन की गई है। E-NWR आधारित प्लेज फाइनेंसिंग के लिए क्रेडिट गारंटी योजना भारत की कृषि अर्थव्यवस्था में क्रांति लाने की दिशा में एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है जो किसानों के लिए बेहतर आय स्थिरता सुनिश्चित करती है और आपूर्ति श्रृंखला की समग्र दक्षता को बढ़ाती है। निवेदन है माननीय केंद्रीय मंत्री महोदय जी से कि आप कृपया अपने शुभ हस्तों से क्रेडिट गारंटी स्कीम का शुभारंभ कर इस स्कीम के लोगों का अनावरण करें। और जोरदार तालियां माननीय मंत्री महोदय जी द्वारा क्रेडिट गारंटी स्कीम के शुभारंभ का। हार्दिक धन्यवाद सर। And ladies and gentlemen, we now present a short video on the credit guarantee scheme. This video will give us a deeper understanding of the schemes and features and its benefits. So let's take a moment to understand the transformative impact of this initiative.
भारत में कृषि लाखों लोगों की जीवन धारा है और अर्थव्यवस्था की बुनियाद है। सरकार ने किसानों की बेहतरी के लिए कई प्रयास किए हैं। इन्हीं प्रयासों में से एक प्रयास किसानों को सस्ते दर पर कृषि उपज के बदले बैंकों से लोन की व्यवस्था है। लेकिन उपयुक्त सूचनाओं की कमी के कारण किसानों को कृषि उपज के बदले ऋण मिलने में परेशानियों का सामना करना पड़ता है। फसल कटाई के बाद कृषि उपज के बदले लोन न मिलने और पैसे के कमी के कारण किसान को अपनी कृषि उपज को कम दाम में बेचना पड़ता है। कृषि उपज का बाजार जब कम हो तब उसके बदले आसानी से ऋण मिलने से किसानों की समस्या बहुत हद तक समाप्त हो सकती है।
अरे राजू, क्या हाल है? क्या बात है, कुछ परेशान दिख रहे हो?
मैनेजर साहब क्या बताऊं, सोचा था फसल कटाई के बाद घर में सुधार होगा, लेकिन फसल के इतने कम दाम मिल रहे हैं कि घर भी नहीं चल पा रहा है और तो और बैंक से लोन मिलना भी मुश्किल हो रहा है।
भाई राजू देखो, हम तो किसानों की मदद करना चाहते हैं, लेकिन बिना गारंटी के जोखिम बहुत ज्यादा है और इतने रिस्क वाले लोन देने के लिए हमारे हाथ बंधे हुए।
लेकिन अब खाद्य एवं सार्वजनिक वितरण विभाग भारत सरकार ने इस समस्या का समाधान कर दिया है। अब किसान अपनी वित्तीय जरूरतों के लिए अपनी फसलों को जल्दबाजी में बेचने की जगह उनका सुरक्षित भंडारण WDRA मान्यता प्राप्त गोदामों में कर सकते हैं। उस उपज पर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेयरहाउस रसीद यानी E-NWR आधारित क्रेडिट गारंटी योजना के अंतर्गत बिना किसी अतिरिक्त गारंटी के बैंक से लोन मिल सकता है। यह योजना बैंक के जोखिम को कम करती है और यह सुनिश्चित करती है कि किसान फसल कटाई के बाद अधिक ब्याज दरों के बोझ के बिना लोन प्राप्त कर सके।
छोटे किसानों के लिए 75 लाख तक के ऋण पर 80 से 85% कवरेज के साथ अब हम और भी अधिक किसानों तक पहुंच सकते हैं। ये कदम न केवल बैंकों के लिए बल्कि उन किसानों के लिए भी स्वागत योग्य है जिनकी हम सहायता करना चाहते थे।
इस नई क्रेडिट गारंटी योजना के कारण अब मैं अपनी उपज तब तक रख सकता हूं जब तक कि कीमतें बेहतर ना हो जाए। अब मजबूरी में बिक्री नहीं करनी पड़ेगी।
ये योजना किसानों को सशक्त करती है, बैंकों को मजबूत करती है और किसानों की आय दोगुना करने के व्यापक लक्ष्य में योगदान देती है।
आसानी से लोन मिलने से अब मेरे सपने साकार हो सकते हैं।
आइए इस यात्रा में हमारे साथ आएं और एक अधिक समृद्ध और सुरक्षित कृषि अर्थव्यवस्था का निर्माण करें।
Thank you for this wonderful presentation. It reflects the government's unwavering commitment to innovation and progress. And to mark this significant milestone, we will now proceed with the formal exchange of the Memorandum of Understanding that underscores the collaborative efforts of various stakeholders in making this vision a reality. I would now like to invite Ms. Anita Khan, JS Storage, DFPD, and Shri Durgesh Pandeyji, MD, National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company Limited, our partner institution, to kindly come forward for the formal exchange of the Memorandum of Understanding in the august presence of the Honorable Ministers. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the privilege of inviting Shri Faiz Ahmed Kidwaiji, Additional Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, to kindly share his thoughts. So let's put our hands together to welcome sir.
मंच पर उपस्थित आदरणीय मंत्रीगण, आदरणीय श्री प्रहलाद जोशी जी, आदरणीय मैडम न्यूबेन जयंतीबाई बम्बानिया जी, आदरणीय श्री BL वर्मा जी, सचिव चोपड़ा सर, अनीता मैम WDRA चेयरपर्सन, सभी साथियों, सर्वप्रथम तो मैं डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ फूड एंड पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन को बधाई देना चाहूँगा। आपने ये E-NWR बेस्ड क्रेडिट गारंटी फंड और ये स्कीम जो लॉन्च की है, इसकी मांग काफ़ी समय से थी और इसका एक विशेष कारण पूर्व में भी कुछ ऐसे बैंक्स के साथ अनुभव रहे हैं कि उनको इस तरह के फ़ंड की आवश्यकता मुझे लगता है महसूस हुई है, जिससे इस स्कीम से वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा फाइनेंसिंग कर सकेंगे। आज किसानों के समक्ष जो सबसे बड़ी समस्या रहती है वो पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट में जो मंडियों में रेट गिरते हैं, उस टाइम कैसे वो अपना, एक तरफ तो उनको खाद बीज की आवश्यकता रहती है, दूसरी तरफ उनको अपनी फसल जल्दी बेचने का, ताकि वो उस पूंजी की व्यवस्था कर सकें, ये दबाव रहता है। अगर इस तरह की योजना है जो आज भी है, इसका अधिक से अधिक किसान लाभ उठाएंगे तो उसका उनको अपनी फसलों के वास्तविक मूल्य प्राप्त होंगे। मेरा अनुरोध इसमें केवल इतना है कि आज भी अगर हम डेटा देखें तो अभी भी पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट जो स्टोरेज है उसमें किसानों की संख्या बहुत कम है, व्यापारियों की संख्या ज़्यादा है। हमको इस पर विचार करना पड़ेगा कि कैसे हम, आज भी वो 2 से 3% ही है मात्र जो स्टोरेज किसानों का है, और वो भी खासकर बड़े किसानों का है। हम अगर छोटे और मझोले किसानों को इस योजना की तरफ ले जाना चाहते हैं तो उस पर और थोड़े प्रयास मुझे लगता है करने पड़ेंगे। हमारे विभाग ने अलग से एक प्रयास किया था जिसकी स्वीकृति हमें नहीं मिली, लेकिन हम आगे भी करेंगे, जिसमें हम एक इंटरेस्ट सबवेंशन की बात कर रहे हैं कि पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट स्टोरेज में अगर इंटरेस्ट सबवेंशन जुड़ जाए और जो स्टोरेज चार्जेस हैं वो भी अगर किसी तरह से किसानों को प्राप्त हों तो हो सकता है किसान इसके लिए प्रेरित हों। एक केवल अनुरोध ये रहेगा कि जो भी फाइनेंसिंग होनी है वो एक निश्चित समय सीमा में हो जाए, वो बहुत आवश्यक है, क्योंकि किसानों को जो पूंजी की आवश्यकता होती है इसी वजह से वो मंडियों में और ऐसी जगह बेचते हैं, भले ही दाम उनको कम मिले लेकिन उनको पैसा तत्काल मिल जाता है। पुनः मैं खाद्य विभाग को इसके लिए बधाई देना चाहूँगा और आशा करूँगा इस योजना से हमारे किसानों को अधिक लाभ होगा। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir, for sharing your vision for the advancement of the India's agricultural landscape. माननीय उपभोक्ता मामले, खाद्य और सार्वजनिक वितरण राज्य मंत्री श्रीमती नीमूबेन जयंतीभाई बम्बानिया जी से अनुरोध करते हैं कि आप कृपया सभा को संबोधित करें और अपने मूल्यवान विचार और दृष्टिकोण हम सभी के साथ साझा करें। जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत माननीय राज्य मंत्री महोदय जी का।
आज क्रेडिट गारंटी योजना के लॉन्च समारोह में उपस्थित हमारे माननीय केंद्रीय मंत्री श्री प्रहलाद जोशी साहेब, मेरे सहयोगी श्री आदरणीय BL वर्मा जी, खाद्य एवं सार्वजनिक वितरण विभाग के सचिव श्री संजीव चोपड़ा जी, कृषि एवं किसान कल्याण विभाग के सचिव श्री देवेश चतुर्वेदी जी, वित्तीय सेवाएं विभाग के सचिव श्री M नागराजू जी, चेयरमैन श्री WDRA श्रीमती अनीता प्रवीण जी, खाद्य एवं सार्वजनिक वितरण विभाग की संयुक्त सचिव श्रीमती अनीता कर्ण जी, खाद्य विभाग के अधिकारीगण, यहाँ उपस्थित अन्य महानुभावों, देवियों, सज्जनों, प्रेस मीडिया के भाइयों, सर्वप्रथम मैं माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में किसानों के जीवन को सशक्त और सुरक्षित बनाने के लिए लॉन्च किए जा रही क्रेडिट गारंटी योजना के समारंभ में आप सभी का स्वागत करती हूँ। यह योजना हमारी सरकार द्वारा किसानों की बेहतरीन और उनके भविष्य को सुरक्षित बनाने के लिए उठाए गए एक ऐतिहासिक कदम है। हमारी सरकार हमेशा किसानों के हितों की रक्षा करती रही है और इस योजना के माध्यम से हम किसानों को उनके अधिकार दिलाने और उनके जीवन को बेहतर बनाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने हमेशा कहा है, हमारे देश की समृद्धि किसानों की समृद्धि में ही है। इसी सोच के तहत क्रेडिट गारंटी योजना 2024-25 से लेकर 2030-31 तक लागू किया जाएगा। ये योजना विशेष रूप से इन स्मॉल और मार्जिनल किसानों के लिए है, जो अपनी उपज को मान्यता प्राप्त गोदामों में जमा करके E-NWR के माध्यम से लोन प्राप्त कर सकते हैं। इस योजना का मुख्य उद्देश्य किसानों को फसल काटने के बाद की वित्तीय सहायता देना है, ताकि वे तात्कालिक बिक्री के बच सके और अपनी उपज को उचित मूल्य पर बेच सके। इसके माध्यम से हम किसानों को बाजार में मर्जी के हिसाब से अपनी उपज बेचने का अवसर देंगे, जिससे उनकी आय में वृद्धि होगी। इस योजना के अंतर्गत किसानों को अपनी उपज के अलावा किसी अन्य संपत्ति की गारंटी नहीं देनी पड़ेगी। E-NWR की रसीद ही उनके लिए एक सुरक्षित और लीगल गारंटी का काम करेंगी। ये हमारी सरकार का किसानों को विश्वास दिलाने का एक प्रयास है कि उनका श्रम और उत्पादन सम्मानित होगा। यह योजना न केवल कृषि लोन को बढ़ावा देती है, बल्कि भंडारण, सुरक्षित रखरखाव और व्यापार में भी सुधार लाती है। इससे सरकार खाद्य महंगाई को नियंत्रित कर पाएगी और किसान की आय दोगुनी करके अपने लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करेगी। साथ ही बैंकों को सुरक्षित लोन पोर्टफोलियो मिलेगा, जिससे धोखाधड़ी और नुकसान में कमी आएगी। यह योजना केवल किसानों के लिए वित्तीय सहायता नहीं है, बल्कि ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में नकदी प्रवाह में भी सुधार लाती है। गोदामों का सुधार और भंडारण की गुणवत्ता में वृद्धि से कृषि उत्पादन की हानि को कम किया जाएगा और किसान को उनके परिश्रम का पूरा मूल्य मिलेगा। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने हमेशा किसानों के हितों के लिए काम किया है। हमारी सरकार ने कई योजना के माध्यम से किसानों की मदद की है और अब ये क्रेडिट गारंटी योजना उनके संघर्ष और परिश्रम को उचित सम्मान देने का एक और कदम है। अंत में मैं यह कहूंगी कि एक क्रेडिट गारंटी योजना केवल एक योजना नहीं, बल्कि किसानों के लिए एक नई उम्मीद और नए भविष्य का प्रतीक है। धन्यवाद।
हार्दिक धन्यवाद आपके प्रेरणात्मक शब्दों और इस पहल के महत्व को रेखांकित करने के लिए। अब आमंत्रित करना चाहेंगे माननीय उपभोक्ता मामले, खाद्य और सार्वजनिक वितरण राज्य मंत्री श्री BL वर्मा जी को। आपने हमारी शासन प्रणाली की कार्यक्षमता और समावेशिता को बढ़ाने के लिए अनेक पहलें लागू की हैं। माननीय मंत्री महोदय जी से अनुरोध है, कृपया सभा को संबोधित करें और अपने विचार साझा करें। जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत माननीय राज्य मंत्री महोदय जी।
धन्यवाद। आज क्रेडिट गारंटी योजना के इस कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित हमारे भारत सरकार के बहुत ही लोकप्रिय मंत्री, जिनके नेतृत्व में मंत्रालय निरंतर आज की आवश्यकताओं के अनुसार काम कर रहा है, ऐसे माननीय मंत्री उपभोक्ता मामले, खाद्य और सार्वजनिक वितरण एवं नवीनकरणीय ऊर्जा मंत्रालय के परमादरणीय प्रहलाद जोशी जी, हमारी साथी मंत्री उपभोक्ता मामले, खाद्य, सार्वजनिक वितरण श्रीमती नीमूबाई जयंतीबाई बावड़िया जी, और हमारे इस मंत्रालय के बहुत ही एक्टिव और डायनेमिक सेक्रेटरी श्री संजीव चोपड़ा जी, हमारे भंडारण विकास और विनियामक प्राधिकरण WDRA की अध्यक्ष श्रीमती अनिता प्रेम कुमार जी, ज्वाइंट सेक्रेटरी एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी कृषि और किसान कल्याण विभाग फैज अहमद किदवई जी, संयुक्त सचिव खाद्य और सार्वजनिक वितरण सुश्री अनिता कर्ण जी, कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित मीडिया के सभी बंधु और इस हॉल में कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित सभी देवी और सज्जनों और मंत्रालय के सभी अधिकारीगण, आज के इस कार्यक्रम के अवसर पर आप सबका हृदय से स्वागत और अभिनंदन करता हूं। सच में आज की इस योजना के लिए हम यहाँ बैठे हैं, बहुत ही किसानों के लिए वरदान योजना है। और चूंकि मैं स्वयं किसान हूं और खेती किसानी मैंने अपने हाथों से की है, आज भी जब जाना होता है तो जाकर जब तक अपनी खेती को न देख लूं तब तक मुझे चैन अभी तक पड़ता नहीं। और बचपन से लेकर मुझे याद आता है कि स्कूल जाने से पहले भी खेती के काम करके जाना, 14 किलोमीटर पैदल जाना, पैदल वापस आना। तब मैं कहूँगा कि वास्तव में किसानों की समस्याएं कैसी होती हैं और समस्याओं का निदान कैसे होता है, ये अगर देखा है तो माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने 2014 के बाद देखा है। वैसे तो हमारी KCC योजना जब हमारी भारत सरकार में अटल जी प्रधानमंत्री थे और माननीय राजनाथ सिंह जी कृषि मंत्री थे, तब कम ब्याज पर किसानों के लिए इस योजना को लाने का काम किया था। लेकिन सच में किसान जिस तरह से मेहनत करता है, परिश्रम करता है, स्वयं लगता है, उसके परिवार के लोग लगते हैं, और जब फसल कटने का समय आता है तो उस समय औने पौने में, मजबूरी में, पैसे के अभाव में अपनी फसल को, अपने उत्पादों को बेचने को मजबूर होना पड़ता है। कई बार किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड जो हमारा है वो तब तक रिन्यू नहीं होगा जब तक पैसा जमा नहीं होगा। बाजार से भी पैसा लेकर के, और वो जो ब्याज होता है ऊंचा ब्याज होता है, कई बार माननीय मंत्री जी 5-5% महीने का ब्याज मैंने देखा है। माने तब कहा जाता है किसानों को अगर 1 रुपए में 100 पैसे कीमत होती है तो 100 पैसे कीमत उसे मिलती नहीं, क्योंकि उस ब्याज में, और उधार लेने जब जाता है बेटी की शादी को, कुछ किसी और को कपड़ा हो या कुछ भी चीज हो, तो वहां का दुकानदार भी मानता है कि मैं उधार दे रहा हूं तो उसका कितना मुझे रेट लगाना है। इस सच को स्वीकार किया और सच को सच्चाई के हिसाब से किसान के हित में काम किया तो आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने किया। किसान की इनकम दुगुनी कैसे हो, इसके लिए तरह तरह की योजनाएं लाकर, एमएसपी के लगातार रेट बढ़ाकर, लगातार एमएसपी की खरीद बढ़ाकर, और मैं कहूंगा कुछ चीजों में तो लगभग दोने से भी ज्यादा एमएसपी के रेट पहुंचे। और इतना ही नहीं, किसान कैसे समृद्ध हो, उसके लिए किसानों को बहुत सारी स्कीमें लाने का काम माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने, चाहे वो कृषि मंत्रालय हो, चाहे वो किसानों से जुड़ा हुआ सहकारिता मंत्रालय हो, चाहे हमारा मंत्रालय हो, लगातार माननीय पीएम साहब का फोकस रहता है। तब मैं कह सकता हूं कि आज प्रधानमंत्री जी ने यह सारी सुविधाएं दी हैं किसानों के लिए। आधुनिक खेती कैसे किसानों की पैदावार बढ़ाने के लिए हो, इसके लिए जो कृषि वैज्ञानिक केंद्र होते हैं उनके द्वारा लगातार किसानों की गोष्ठियां, उन्नतशील उनको बीज देने से लेकर, और सबसे ज्यादा बड़ी बात ये जो खाद डीएपी यूरिया लगती है, हम सब जानते हैं कि यूरिया और डीएपी के रेट लगातार बढ़ते हैं। जो हमारा रॉ मटेरियल होता है वो यहां पर नहीं आता, बाहर से आता है। लेकिन अभी तक इन 10 वर्षों में किसानों के एमएसपी के रेट तो दोगुने तक बढ़ाए, लेकिन यूरिया डीएपी के पैसे नहीं बढ़ने दिए। आज भी वही पैसे हैं। डीएपी का बोरी अगर आज से 10 साल पहले 1270 मिलती तो आज भी उतने मिलती है। यूरिया की बोरी 250 के आसपास उस समय मिलती थी, आज वही मिलती है। लेकिन मैं कहूंगा कि आज इतना बड़ा बोझ भारत सरकार अपने ऊपर लेती है। जिस तरह से बरसात में हम छाते का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, बरसात तो होती है लेकिन बरसात छाते पर आ जाती है और भीगने को हमको बचा लेती है। माने प्रधानमंत्री छाते के रूप में भारत सरकार को उसकी बढ़ी हुई महंगाई को ओढ़ने का काम करते हैं, लेकिन किसान पर बोझ नहीं आने देते। इससे पहले सहकारिता मंत्रालय मेरे पास था, माननीय अमित शाह जी के साथ राज्य मंत्री के रूप में काम करने का अवसर मिला। तब मैंने देखा तरह तरह की अनेकों योजनाएं जो सीधे सीधे किसानों से जुड़ी हुई थी। और आज जब यहां पर खड़े हैं, हम भंडारण योजना की बात कर रहे हैं, तब मैं कहूंगा कि एफसीआई ने और अन्य हमारे डिपार्टमेंट ने इतने काम गोदाम वेयर हाउसिंग के किए हैं। इसके बाद में भी पिछले वर्ष तक केवल 47% जो हमारे अन्न उत्पाद होता है, फसलें होती हैं, उसकी भंडारण की क्षमता थी। तब माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस भंडारण की क्षमता को बढ़ाने के लिए दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी अन्न भंडारण योजना सहकारिता मंत्रालय में लाने का काम किया। और किसानों के लिए छोटे छोटी जो पैक्स होती हैं सोसाइटी, उनके माध्यम से हमने पायलट प्रोजेक्ट हमने केवल शुरू ही नहीं किए, उनका लोकार्पण भी हो गया। तो ये दर्द अगर किसी को हुआ, किसान जो पसीने से अपने किसी भी उपज को पैदा करता है, जब सड़ती गलता कहीं देखा तो दर्द भी माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी को हुआ। तो सम्मानित बहनों भाइयों, मैं कह सकता हूं आज की योजना किसानों के लिए वरदान साबित इसलिए होगी कि हम अपने इस जो हमारे WDRA तो वेयर हाउसिंग डेवलपमेंट एंड रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी के मूल्यांकन के बाद जो मान्यता प्राप्त हमारे गोदाम होंगे, उसमें जो फसल हमारी रखी होगी उसमें E-NWR रिसीप्ट है जो जारी होगी केवल मात्र रसीद के नाते उसको हम लोन दे पाएंगे। माना कि फसल आज आ रही है, कभी आप देखें जिस समय माना कि गेहूं आता है उस समय रेट का डिफरेंस एमएसपी से बहुत ज्यादा होता है, लेकिन किसान इतनी बड़ी तादाद में लेकर के मंडियों में अनाज को आता है कि पता चलता है मंडियां पट जाती हैं। वास्तव में ऐसा नहीं है, कोई विशेष ऐसा नहीं है कि हम क्यों ला रहे हैं, केवल पैसे के अभाव में ला रहे हैं। परिवार की चिंता है, बेटे बेटियों की चिंता है, बच्चे स्कूल जा रहे हैं उनके लिए कहीं से ले रखा है उसकी चिंता है। तब मैं कह सकता हूं आज गांव में भी किसानों के घरों में भी प्रतिभाएं पैदा होती, और हमारी इस योजना से करोड़ों करोड़ किसान जो लाभान्वित होंगे, उसके साथ साथ हमारे चाहे सीमांत हो, लघु किसान हो, जो छोटे किसान जिसे हम कह सकते हैं, हमारे महिलाएं चाहे जनजाति हो, अनुसूचित जनजाति हो, दिव्यांगजन हो, हमारे छोटे व्यापारी एमएसएमई हो, हमारे एफपीओ जो किसान उत्पाद संगठन चलते हैं, मुझे लगता है सभी को इसका लाभ मिलेगा। और माननीय मंत्री जी, आज आपके हाथों से इसका लोकार्पण हो रहा है। वास्तव में जिस तरह से आज मैं माननीय राजनाथ सिंह जी को, अटल जी को याद करता हूं, लोग आपको इस स्कीम को याद करेंगे कि भारत सरकार में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी के नेतृत्व में आदरणीय प्रहलाद जोशी जी ने इस स्कीम को शुरू किया था। और मैं कह सकता हूं कि न जाने कितने करोड़ों करोड़ों किसानों के चेहरे पर आप खुशी लाने के लिए, उनके लिए महंगे ब्याज से कर्जे से मुक्ति दिलाने के लिए, और उनको विवश न होना पड़े कम पैसों में अपनी फसल को बेचने के लिए, इसके लिए आपने कदम उठाया है। मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई इस मंत्रालय को और इस देश के करोड़ों करोड़ों किसानों के लिए और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री के लिए बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूं और किसानों के लिए बधाई देता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
आपके प्रेरणात्मक संदेश और समर्थन के लिए हार्दिक धन्यवाद। देवियों और सज्जनों, आज ये हमारा सौभाग्य है कि हमारे साथ उपस्थित हैं माननीय मुख्य अतिथि, माननीय उपभोक्ता मामले, खाद्य और सार्वजनिक वितरण तथा नवीन और नवीकरणीय ऊर्जा मंत्री श्री प्रहलाद जोशी जी। आपके नेतृत्व में उपभोक्ता मामले और खाद्य एवं सार्वजनिक वितरण मंत्रालय ने कई परिवर्तनकारी पहलें शुरू की हैं, जिससे देश भर के किसानों और हितधारकों को अधिक पारदर्शिता, कुशलता और सशक्तिकरण प्राप्त हुआ। आपका नवीकरणीय ऊर्जा समाधान और स्थायी प्रथाओं को एकीकृत करने का प्रयास आज के इस कार्यक्रम के उद्देश्यों के साथ पूरी तरह से मेल खाता है, जहां हम नवाचार और समावेशी विकास पर ध्यान केंद्रित कर रहे हैं। आपसे निवेदन है, कृपया अपने प्रेरणात्मक संदेश के साथ हम सभी का मार्गदर्शन करें। एक बार फिर जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत माननीय केंद्रीय मंत्री महोदय जी का।
आप सभी को नमस्कार। यूनियन मिनिस्टर फॉर स्टेट श्री BL वर्मा जी, श्रीमती निमुबन जी, सेक्रेटरी श्री संजीव चोपड़ा जी और चेयरपर्सन WDRA अनिता प्रवीण जी, एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एग्रीकल्चरल एंड फार्मर्स वेलफेयर, officers, distinguished guests, media persons, ladies and gentlemen. आज मेरा हिसाब से एक तो ये बहुत ही महत्व के दिन है, क्योंकि फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन एंड इंस्टीट्यूशनल नेटवर्क को सबको लाना एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंजिंग भी है, लेकिन इस चैलेंज को माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में बहुत बड़ी मात्रा में फ्रॉम जनधन टू टिल डेट, जिन लोगों ने बैंक का दरवाजा भी नहीं देखा था, आज लगभग मोर देन 90-95% फार्मर्स हो और लोग हो, गरीब लोग हो, दे आर इन दी इंस्टीट्यूशनल नेटवर्क। तो once I had an experience, मेरे पास मैं जब पहली बार MP बना था तब मेरे पास एक जो स्ट्रीट वेंडर जो फल बेचते थे वो आए थे. He gave me a वेडिंग कार्ड, शादी का निमंत्रण देते हुए मुझे उन्होंने कहा आपको इट मे बी अनरिलेटेड फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर जो अभी जो हम उद्घाटन करें, लेकिन इंक्लूजन का महत्व क्या होता है मैं आपको बताता हूं. He gave me the invitation and I asked him, आप क्या करते हो? मैं तो बोला मैं सड़क के बाजू में फल बेचता हूं. और मुझे बाद में ये भी पूछा साहब कुछ मुझे शादी के लिए हेल्प करो. तो मैंने पूछा आप ठीक है कुछ करेंगे, लेकिन आपका व्यापार कैसे चलता है, क्या करते हैं? मतलब 2-3 हज़ार रुपए का मैं व्यापार करता हूं उस टाइम पे, 20 years back. This is my 5th term. मैं सुबह से शाम तक व्यापार करता हूं. सुबह 2-3 हज़ार का, 4 हज़ार का मैं उधर हमारे इसमें बागवान बोलते हैं, बागवान के पास मैं होलसेल में फल लेके आता हूं. 1000 रुपए का फल अगर मैं उधार लेता हूं, मैं शाम तक उनको 1100 रुपए देना पड़ेगा. If I purchase 1000 rupees with a credit, I have to give back him in the evening 1100 rupees. इसलिए मुझे जो कुछ भी मेरा फायदा होता है उसमें मेजर पोर्शन इसमें चले जाता है. बट इन रिसेंट डेज जब एक कार्यक्रम भी शुरू हुआ था जो स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स के लिए भी स्वामित्व योजना में हम अभी पैसा दे रहे हैं, मीन्स लोन दे रहे हैं, उसमें तो 5,000 10,000 लोन से इतने बड़ी मात्रा में लोगों का सुविधा हो रहा है एंड दे आर अर्निंग देयर लाइवलीहुड वेरी वेल नाउ. दिस इज ऑल्सो लाइक दिस. तो ये जो फार्मर्स है, तो कन्नड़ में राष्ट्रकवि कुवेंपु था. मैं कर्नाटक से आता हूँ, आप सब जानते होंगे. ज्ञानपीठ अवार्डी भी थे. वो बोलते थे ನೇಗಿಲ ಹಿಡಿದ ಹೊಲದೊಳು हाड़ुता उड़वा योगी या नोडली. इसका अर्थ है द पोएट कंपेयर द फार्मर टू द योगी, नेगल योगी. और जस्ट लाइक योगी ही गिव द विजडम टू द पीपल, द फार्मर प्रोवाइड द फूड, sustain the community. This poem highlights how the world is preserved and nourished through the hard work of the farmers. लेकिन हम तो उनके लिए एग्रीकल्चरल लोन, क्रॉप लोन तो देते हैं. जब वो मार्केट में उनका प्रोडक्ट्स लेके आते हैं तब उनको कभी कभी पेरिशेबल का थोड़ा कुछ इशू अलग होगा, लेकिन मुझे बहुत अच्छी तरह से याद है शरद पवार जी एक बार ऑनियन के बारे में उत्तर दे रहे थे. He was replying about the issue of the onion. Some people in the Delhi, Mumbai and in many other important places, they were demanding the export ban. They were demanding the तो लोग एक्सपोर्ट का बैन करने के लिए डिमांड कर रहे थे. लोकसभा में थोड़ा कुछ चर्चा चल रहा था. तो मेरा कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में लोग सड़क पर फेंक रहे थे, हमको दाम नहीं मिल रहा है. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट 20 years बैक. सो इशू इज दैट उधर तो उनको दाम नहीं मिल रहे थे, इधर तो लोग हमारा बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गया है दाम, इसीलिए इसको एक्सपोर्ट बैन कर दो. मीन्स यू कैन सी द कॉन्ट्रास्ट. तो ये सब अवॉइड करने के लिए ये जो हमने E-NWR बेस्ड प्लेज फाइनेंसिंग का क्रेडिट गारंटी स्कीम लाया है, दिस आई थिंक इट इज गोइंग टू बी द टर्निंग पॉइंट. Prime Minister, many a times he has repeated, ours is a government fully committed to the Kisan Kalyan. तो इसी के कारण हम पीएम किसान हो, प्रधानमंत्री फसल बीमा योजना हो, ऐसे बहुत स्कीम्स हमने लाया है। और उसी के साथ जब दुनिया में हमारा जो उर्वरक का फर्टिलाइजर का प्राइस इतना बड़ा है युद्ध वगैरह के कारण, बट इंडिया इज दी ओनली कंट्री, फॉर एग्जांपल यूरिया के बारे में we are providing just at 260-270 rupees per bag, where in the entire world nowhere at this cost farmers are being given at this cost. तो ऐसे बहुत कार्यक्रम है। बट प्रॉब्लम वाज, जैसे सेक्रेटरी ने जिक्र किया, प्री हार्वेस्ट फाइनेंस हमारा 21 लाख करोड़ हो गए अभी, 21 लाख करोड़, whereas post harvest हमारा between 35,000 to 40,000 crores होता है। चले एक तरह डिस्ट्रेस सेल होता है, ये डिस्ट्रेस सेल अवॉइड करने के लिए ये प्रोग्राम हमने सोच समझ कर शुरू किया। इससे पहले भी जो चेयरमैन थे NWR इसका वेयर हाउस डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी का जो चेयरमैन था, वो भी सेक्रेटरी साहब ने मुझे प्रेजेंटेशन भी दिया था। तो चैलेंजिंग टास्क क्या है? द चैलेंजिंग टास्क इज टू रजिस्टर ऑल द वेयर हाउस। आई थिंक एज फार एज आई हैव अंडरस्टूड व्हाट द presentation was given to me, subsequently I had a discussion many a times with the officers. मुझे क्या लगता है, इस एम्बिट में जो वेयर हाउस बनाते हैं उन लोगों को लाना है, और इसमें नियरर टू दी फॉर्म्स में, जैसे एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड मीन्स नियरर टू दी विलेज, नियरर टू दी तालुका हेडक्वार्टर, नियरर टू दी डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर, अच्छे अच्छे गोडाउन बनाना ये बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है। एंड जो गोडाउन बनाते हैं, वेयर हाउस बनाते हैं, उन लोगों को इसमें नेटवर्क में लाना, बिकॉज वी आर नॉट मेकिंग इट मैंडेटरी। अगर प्राइवेट वाले और किसी प्राइवेट व्यक्ति के गोडाउन में जाके सामान रखते हैं तो हम तो मना नहीं कर सकते, बट ओनली फॉर द स्मॉल गोडाउन्स वी हैव टू कंस्ट्रक्ट वेयर द कोऑपरेटिव मिनिस्ट्री under the leadership of Shri Amit Shah, they are also putting the best effort, and all such things if it can be brought and e-registration हमारे तरफ से उन लोगों का होता है तो then I think will be this scheme is going to be the huge success. इसके लिए हम सब लोगों को काम करना है, distress sale को avoid करना है, because majority of people still today in our country they are dependent on agricultural. तो agricultural should be made viable. मैं ये भी एक घटना जानता हूँ, एक बार सिर्फ गेहूं का इंपोर्ट का चर्चा हुआ था, दैट इज अराउंड 15 years बैक। जब भारत में गेहूं का आयात का एक बार चर्चा हुआ था, वो भी कंसल्टेटिव कमेटी में चर्चा हुआ था। ये तो बाहर जाता ही जाता है, हमारे इतना बड़ा देश में कुछ भी सीक्रेट तो नहीं रहता है। तो जब बाहर ये चीज फैल गया, दुनिया का गेहूं का रेट बढ़ गया बड़ी मात्रा में, क्योंकि लोग जानते हैं अगर हम इंपोर्ट करते हैं तो बहुत बड़ी मात्रा में इंपोर्ट करते हैं। सो वी हैव टू मेक आवर एग्रीकल्चरल वायबल, वी हैव टू मेक आवर फार्मर स्ट्रांग। तो तब भी हमारा देश फूड सिक्योरिटी में, and which will be able to really make this country as the food secured country. For that, the scheme is very, very important. As already mentioned, we have provided around corpus fund of 1,000 crore rupees for this from our department. And primary objective of the scheme is to encourage the banks. जो बैंक के लोग बैठे हैं, DFS के सेक्रेटरी इधर आए हुए थे, ऐसे मुझे उन्होंने मैसेज भेजा है, बिकॉज ही वॉज प्रीवियसली माई एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी ऑल्सो, तो ही हैज सेंट मी मैसेज। मैं आया था 4 बजे, मुझे और कमिटमेंट है इसलिए मैं चला गया, आई एम सॉरी करके भेजा है। मेरा आग्रह इतना ही है, बैंक्स को भी थोड़ा लिबरल रहना चाहिए। तो आई एम नॉट टेलिंग लिबरल मीन्स आप बिना सोचे बिना कुछ देखते हुए लोन डिस्पर्समेंट करना, ये मैं कभी भी नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, लेकिन एट द सेम टाइम तो प्रैक्टिकल अप्रोच के साथ जहाँ वेयरहाउसिंग का ये E-NWR का रसीट रहता है, वो देख के थोड़ा लिबरल अप्रोच रहना चाहिए। जितना हमारा एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोड्यूस कम होता है, when people start say, I mean we don't want to, एक टाटा इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ सोशल सर्विस कुछ इंस्टीट्यूट है, तो आई एम नॉट एबल टू फुल्ली रिकॉल इट्स नेम, इसका एक सर्वे रिपोर्ट आया था, दैट्स ऑल्सो अराउंड 17-18 ईयर्स बैक। वो बहुत साउंड भी हुआ था उसका, उस टाइम पे नॉइस बहुत हुआ था। So after doing the survey, the survey report indicated that if any other option is given, we want to quit the agricultural, we want to quit the farming activity. That was it was 16-17 years back report था। तो देश का सोचिए, अगर इतना बड़े देश में where there is 140 crore people, हम तो एग्रीकल्चरल के ऊपर, आहार के ऊपर, फूड के ऊपर, हम दूसरे देशों के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट नहीं हो सकते। इसलिए सरकार प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में अलग अलग तरीके से स्कीम ला रहे हैं, अलग अलग तरीके से फार्मर्स को एनकरेज करने के लिए स्कीमें हम ला रहे हैं। ऑलरेडी देयर आर ऑलरेडी स्कीम इन द प्लेस एंड गवर्नमेंट इज ऑल्सो ओपन फॉर द एनी न्यू आइडिया। तो ये सब सोचते हुए, एक तो CWR has to proactively do this job of trying to register more and more godowns so that they can issue the certificates, and we should try to also encourage, banks should also encourage to construct the more and more godowns, both in cooperative sector and private sector. उसी के साथ बैंक भी, they have to be more liberal. Because today I am sitting and standing before you and talking to you, I will share my example. बैंक का अभी तो थोड़ा सरकार का भी रवैया मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में बहुत ही प्रोएक्टिव है, प्रो फार्मर्स है, प्रो मिडिल क्लास है, प्रो पुअर है, प्रो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप है, स्टार्टअप के लिए है, थोड़ा कुछ अभी लिबरल है। लेकिन 35 years back when I started my business, मैंने एक बैंक से, नेशनलाइज्ड बैंक से, तो ये प्रधानमंत्री, क्योंकि मेरा पिताजी बहुत एक रेलवे में क्लरिकल लेवल पे उस टाइम पे जॉब करते थे, तब रिटायर भी हो गया था, तो आई वेंट एंड आस्क्ड फॉर दी प्रधानमंत्री एम्प्लॉयमेंट का एक स्कीम चलता था अनएम्प्लॉयड यूथ के लिए, 35,000 रुपीज़ देते थे। तब मैं गया था बैंक को, मैंने अप्लाई किया, डिस्ट्रिक्ट इंडस्ट्रियल डिपार्टमेंट से मेरा सिलेक्शन हो गया, और मुझे बैंक लेने के लिए मैं बहुत बार बैंक को गया, बाद में 10 बार 12-15 बार जाना पड़ा, अंत में मुझे अराउंड 25,000 रुपीज़ लोन दिया। बट बाय दिस टाइम 7-8 महीने हो गया था। देन आई थॉट, मैंने उस टाइम हॉलो ब्रिक्स करने के लिए सोचा था, दिस इज आई एम टॉकिंग ऑफ 30-35 ईयर्स बैक। तो बाद में मुझे लगा ये हॉलो ब्रिक्स में बिजनेस अच्छा नहीं होता है, इसलिए मैंने डिसइंफेक्टेंट और फ्लोर क्लीनर, ग्लास क्लीनर का छोटा इंडस्ट्री शुरू किया। बैंक मैनेजर आया तो देख, कहाँ है आपका इंडस्ट्री? मैंने बोला यही है, छोटा एक रूम था। तब बोला ये तो आपका जो लिख के दिया है उस प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट में ये नहीं है। मैंने बोला ठीक है, मैं आपका पैसा तो देता हूँ। नहीं नहीं नहीं, आपने ये नहीं किया, अभी मेरा पैसा दे दो वापस। मैंने बोला मेरे पास पैसा तो नहीं, मैं धंधा शुरू कर दिया हूँ। लेकिन उन्होंने छोड़ा नहीं, मेरा पिताजी ने उसके लिए गारंटी दिया था, ही वॉज ए पेंशनर। जाके घर में बैठा, मैं आपका पेंशन बंद कराता हूँ, ऐसे उनको धमकी दिया। तब मेरा पिताजी ने बोला कैसे भी करके वो पैसा वापस दे दो। मैंने बोला मुझे, मेरे पास पैसा तो नहीं है, मैं धंधा शुरू कर दिया हूँ। लेकिन अल्टीमेटली पैसा तो मैं उस टाइम नहीं दिया, उन्होंने बहुत डराया। मेरा पिताजी भी बोला जो होता है देखेंगे बाद में करके मुझे छोड़ दिया। अल्टीमेटली मुझे 7,500 रुपीज सब्सिडी मिलना था, उन्होंने नहीं दिया। जब मैं 2004 तक, मैं तो थोड़ा कुछ पैसा देता था बैंक को, लेकिन 2004 में 7-8 हज़ार बचा था, तब मैंने ये नॉमिनेशन भरने से पहले हमको ये देना पड़ता है ना, इसलिए मैं पूरा 7-8 हज़ार दे के मेरा अकाउंट क्लोज किया। टुडे अराउंड 600-700 पीपल आर वर्किंग इन माई इंडस्ट्री। दिस इज द अप्रोच। उस टाइम था, इस टाइम थोड़ा चेंज हुआ होगा, बट माई रिक्वेस्ट टू ऑल द बैंकर्स, टुगेदर वी शुड सी दैट आवर फार्मर्स, हमारा जो स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स है, मिडिल क्लास लोग हैं, उनको टू बिकम द एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, टू मेक द एग्रीकल्चरल वायबल, वी शुड सपोर्ट देम। देन ओनली फूड सिक्योरिटी का बात जो होगा वो रियलाइज होगा। तो इसीलिए वी ऑल पुट टुगेदर, ये तो जो स्कीम है, दिस विल फर्दर ऐड। हमारा एक कमिटी भी बनाया था उस टाइम, दैट ऑल्सो हैड रिकमेंडेड दैट टू डबल द इनकम ऑफ द फार्मर। ये जो पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट का लोन के बारे में, पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट का फाइनेंसिंग के बारे में, वी ऑल should all work together. That was the recommendation also. So now that recommendation has come true. मैं मेरे पूरा टीम को, डिपार्टमेंट के टीम को, एग्रीकल्चरल मिनिस्ट्री को, DFS को और सभी बैंकर्स जो आए हुए हैं और CWR को मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ। सब मिलकर इस प्रोग्राम को, जो हमारा लक्ष्य है 5,30,000 crores in 10 years, that we need to achieve. For that, we all together we should work as a team. And अंत में मैं इतना ही कहना चाहता हूँ, आने वाले दिनों में बहुत देशों को भी हमको फूड सिक्योरिटी देने का जिम्मेदारी आ सकता है। क्या एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी एग्रीकल्चर आप ठीक है ना? बिकॉज कई जगह देशों में काम करने के लिए लोग नहीं हैं। देयर आर नो पीपल टू वर्क, दे मे बी हैविंग लैंड, बट देर आर नो पीपल टू वर्क। मैकेनाइजेशन से जो भी थोड़ा कुछ होता है, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली देर आर नो पीपल टू वर्क। सो इन द मेनी कंट्रीज में डिपेंड ऑन द इंडिया, एंड आवर एग्रीकल्चरल एक्सपोर्ट इज ऑल्सो डे बाय डे इंक्रीजिंग। तो इसलिए मैं आपसे निवेदन करता हूँ, सब मिलके इस प्रोग्राम को भी हम यशस्वी करेंगे। फार्मर्स का इनकम डबल करने के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा स्टेप है, इसलिए हम सब मिलके काम करेंगे। इसी आशा और अपेक्षा के साथ आपको धन्यवाद। हम सभी मंत्रालय के, एग्रीकल्चरल मंत्रालय के मेरा टीम को मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद अर्पित करता हूं। नमस्कार।
आपके प्रेरणादायक संबोधन और इस महत्वपूर्ण पहल का आधिकारिक शुभारंभ करने के लिए माननीय मंत्री महोदय जी का तहे दिल से हार्दिक धन्यवाद। And now to bring this event to a close, I invite Shri Anirudh Kumar, Joint Secretary WDRA, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. As we arrive at the conclusion of this enriching event, it is my privilege and honor to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of DFPD and WDRA. First and foremost, I extend our deepest gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Shri Prahlad Joshi ji, Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, New and Renewable Energy, for having spared time from his extremely busy schedule to grace this event, and also for his inspiring address. Our gratitude to the Honorable Minister of States, Shri B.L. Verma ji and Srimati Neemuben Jayanti Bhai Pambhania ji, for their valuable insights that have provided us much to reflect upon. A heartfelt thanks to all our distinguished speakers, Secretary DFPD, Chairperson WDRA, Additional Secretary Agriculture, for sharing their expertise and knowledge. A special thank to all senior officers, delegates, and attendees from DFPD, other ministries, FCI, CWC, banks, FPOs, for their active engagement and enthusiasm. Your presence and contributions have enriched the discussions. Many thanks to the members of the print media. Lastly, I would like to thank the venue staff, members of the organizing committee, and all the volunteers for their meticulous planning and tireless efforts. Once again, I thank everyone for gracing the event and making the event a resounding success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I request our dignitaries to kindly come together for a group photograph, sir. और एक बार फिर जोरदार तालियों के साथ हम धन्यवाद करना चाहेंगे माननीय मंत्रीगण का और सभी वरिष्ठ अधिकारीगण का कि आप सभी ने अपने कीमती समय में से वक्त निकाला, यहाँ उपस्थित हुए, हम सभी का प्रोत्साहन और मार्गदर्शन किया आज के इस बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण लॉन्च के साथ, इस शुरुआत के साथ, इस पहल के साथ। और इसी के साथ आज के कार्यक्रम का समापन करते हैं। आप सभी का दिन शुभ हो। नमस्कार।
हेलो हेलो हेलो
लपेट बेटा, तार लपेटो। अरे लपेटो लपेटो यार, इतने क्या होते हैं? लपेटो लपेटो।